Hi there, my name is Adam Grant, and for the last 3 years I've worked for Via Rail Canada. I worked as a locomotive attendant at the Vancouver Maintenance Centre from May the 1st, 2015 all the way till June the 12th, 2018. During this time I was proactive, never had any sick days, took on as much overtime as I could possibly get, and was always willing to go above and beyond expectations. In this video, I'm going to expose and present 4 investigations which I was involved in, which resulted in my termination. My evidence will clear my name. The purpose of this video is to also help others who might find themselves entangled in a web where management and certain employees covertly go about their ways to get innocent people demerits, investigations, and terminated, like my case. This video will expose safety concerns, harassment, breach of the code of ethics, bully tactics, and again, corporate and union corruption. So welcome to part 1 of my story, and thank you for your patience in joining me today. The first investigation that I'm going to share with you, I received a call to investigation on exactly March 27, 2018 from the manager and investigating officer at the Vancouver Maintenance Centre, Mr. Sean Terry. Now, when he presented me with my call to investigation, he asked me if I wish to have a duly authorized union representative to represent me in the investigation. Now, in this situation, I responded no, because our local chair, Mr. Hercolurgis and fellow locomotive attendant, happened to be training 2 new employees, which was the reason for this investigation. What happened is that on March the 15th, a pull-apart occurred with Mr. Hercolurgis and the 2 new trainees, Parm and Gagan. Parm and Gagan had come from CP and CN, and funny enough, we were told by actually the investigating officer and manager, Sean Terry, that they were qualified to be able to do moves because they came from CP and CN and their cards were good. I would later find out from a head trainer from headquarters, Mr. Jean Lajoie, that their cards actually were expired and they were not qualified to be able to do movement. Now, on March the 15th, what occurred was Gagan was driving the unit, Parm was the ground man and in control. There was electrical cables still connected. Parm had pulled the angle cock to release the couplers and requested the driver, Gagan, to move ahead. What happened was, since the electrical cables were still connected, a pull-apart happened, resulting in damaging the car and also the engine. Now, again, I was found at no fault in regards to this investigation, and I thought it was at an end. The one thing I wish to mention here is that at my whole time I'd been now here at Via Rail, the Vancouver Maintenance Centre, about 2 years and 10 months at this time, that I had a clear record. Again, no sick days, always taking overtime, always going above and beyond. Now, March 27th, again, remember this date because it's going to correlate with the rest of these investigations that I'm going to mention. Also, March the 15th, which was the day of the pull-apart. Now, on the day of this pull-apart, Mr. Bradley Smith was the acting foreman. And you're going to see his name involved in these investigations afterwards. And I'm going to show you how these weasels have put together this and set me up. And I have all my audio proof. I even have them on audio. You're going to see. Just be patient with me here for a second here. So anyways, when this investigation was finished, I reported to the investigating officer and manager, Mr. Sean Terry, that a fellow employee, Mr. Dave Desagne, locomotive attendant as well, had reported to me that he'd been being harassed by Mr. Hercolurgis. Okay? Now, in the Code of Ethics, it states that we have a responsibility to report to a senior officer that there is some kind of harassment issue. It's written in the Code of Ethics, and so all I did was report it. Now, the other thing I wish to mention at this time is that when the investigation finished, I turned on my radio, and what do I hear? Another unqualified locomotive attendant, Mr. Johnny Huynh, doing movement with Mr. Herculergis. Now, the foreman had got them to do movement since I was in investigation and I couldn't be doing my job. So what did he do? They got an unqualified locomotive attendant, Johnny Huynh, to be doing movement. Now, we just finished, literally that moment, an investigation regarding two other unqualified locomotive attendants that we were told were qualified, who weren't qualified, and now we have a third guy. So I immediately asked Mr. Sean Terry, the manager and investigating officer, is Johnny Huynh a qualified locomotive attendant? And he looked me straight in the eyes and he says, I don't know. I then turned my radio to channel 2 so that I wouldn't interrupt their transmission for fear of any kind of safety. And I immediately requested to speak with a via controller foreman, to which there was no response, dead air. I then again request over the radio, via controller, this is L.A. Grant. Nothing but dead air. A third time I ask. Finally I get a response, and it's via controller, acting foreman, Mr. Adam LaChapelle. I then ask him, I say, can you please confirm to me that Johnny Huynh is a qualified locomotive attendant? To which he responded, yeah? I then asked again, can you please confirm that he is a qualified locomotive attendant? Hold on. Nothing but radio silence after this. I looked at Sean. I said, I'll be right back. I then walked down the hallway to where the trainer who was visiting from, or another trainer who was visiting from Montreal headquarters, happens to be a friend of mine, Mr. Jean Lajoie. He actually trained me as a locomotive attendant. I approached Jean, I asked him kindly, I said, can you please tell me if Mr. Johnny Huynh is a qualified locomotive attendant? Jean Lajoie immediately responded, absolutely not. I then grabbed my gear and I made my way down into the shop. And what did I see? I come to the engine and I see the acting foreman via controller reaming out Johnny Huynh, the unqualified locomotive attendant, in front of myself, other employees, and Mr. Herculergis, completely belittling him and disrespecting him in the shop. Now, Johnny had gotten the opportunity to go through the training, and was going through the training as a locomotive attendant. He moved from the baggage side, so he doesn't know the operation. He doesn't know anything. If somebody asks him to do something, he just thinks he has to do it. Now, here we have a manager and foreman that don't know if their own employees are qualified or unqualified to do movement, and are doing so. Seems a little bit iffy to me. And at the same time, especially with a highly safety sensitive position. Now here's the thing. I immediately afterwards filled out a hazard ID. Now, on this hazard ID, which this is the original document, reported by Adam Grant on March the 28th, unsafe act, unsafe equipment, unsafe condition, unsafe use of equipment, and the description, it says here, unqualified locomotive attendant Johnny Huynh was put in control of movement by a foreman. What was the potential consequence? An accident. Recommendations to prevent recurrence: do not allow unqualified locomotive attendants to operate equipment. Corrective action taken, pending an incident report to be done and investigation. Now, Adam LaChapelle, the acting foreman at the time, would afterwards be investigated for having Johnny Huynh do movement, to which this did not help my case at all, and you're going to see throughout all these investigations how management then decided to start setting me up, all for trying to keep the place safe. Now, I want to also share with you guys another hazard ID, unsafe act, unsafe condition. This was reported on April the 2nd. And it states, none of the locomotive attendants have been trained properly to use the overhead crane. We have never been trained and are required to do so if we need to use the overhead crane. What was the potential consequence? Someone can get injured or equipment damaged. Corrective action taken. Please get us all trained so that we can complete given tasks that require the overhead crane. Now the reason why I reported this is because, again, it had been 2 years and 10 months that I've been with the company since then. And during all of this time, we are constantly being asked to use the overhead crane to put sand in the West Coast units. Now again, I would tell the other locomotive attendants, do not use that overhead crane. You are not qualified to do so. And the thing is if an accident does happen and you're going to be investigated, what are they going to ask you? Were you qualified to do such a thing? And you're going to say no. But here's the thing: you're stuck between a hard rock and a hard place, because if you didn't do what management told you, they'd come after your ass. And I'm going to show you exactly how they came after my ass with all of these investigations that transpired after, again, this investigation for wanting to keep the place safe. And again, March the 27th was the day that I requested no union representative, Mr. Herc Kalergis, due to a conflict of interest on March the 27th to Mr. Sean Terry. And you're going to see now in my next investigation how this all correlates together.
Yeah, well, I spoke with Ron Shore about all this kinds of stuff too in regards to getting our executive kind of everything. He just got reelected, right? And as our, I guess, a regional rep, right? But yeah, like, so you look at even just the crane operation for the last 3 years, and it was funny. Then I come up here to get qualified as a crane operator, and we have to go switch. So they put this course together. There's 8 people in here. Me and her can't even stay to even finish that. So for the whole time I've been here, I've been actually using that crane like legally. I mean, hey, I know how to use it. It's the big, the huge one that they move the trucks with and all this kinds of stuff. I mean, that's just one example, right? But I mean, it's funny because it's like, and then when I do say, hey, I asked the guy that runs the course, I said, hey, is this, are they allowed to do this? So I tell the other LAs, listen, you're not allowed to use it. Because if something happens and you're sitting on the other end of a typewriter, one of the questions they're going to ask you, were you qualified to do so? And you're going to say no. And then what's going to happen? They're going to say, well, why were you using it? And cover up their ass. So it's kind of like, hey. And then when you kind of put this in, it's like, oh, they don't want to hear that. Because they want to just get away with whatever they can get away with. The management circle here.
April 11th now, 2018, I've received my second call to investigation. And it states, Dear Mr. Adam Grant, this is to advise you that you are hereby notified to attend an investigation to determine the facts and circumstances surrounding a violation of the Code of Ethics and violation of the Workplace Violence and Harassment Prevention Policy. The investigation is scheduled to take place on April the 13th, 2018 at 12 o'clock in the boardroom at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. Regards, Sean Terry. He's the manager of the Vancouver Maintenance Center. He's the investigating officer of the first investigation, and he will also be the investigator for this investigation. Now, on April the 11th, he hands me 2 exhibits. One is a letter written from Mr. Herc Kalergis on March 27, 2018 to Sean Terry. Here's where this date gets important. The second exhibit that I received was a copy of the Code of Ethics from Via Rail Canada. Okay, so I immediately read the letter from Mr. Herc Kalergis addressed to Sean Terry, and it states here, Dear Sean, as discussed in the office in the presence of Foreman Alan Kosh, the following are the behavioral train of events regarding locomotive attendant Mr. Adam Grant. During the week of March 12, 2018, RTC Preet Singh approached me to inform me as the union representative for Agreement Number 1 that Mr. Grant had made disparaging racial comments against RTC apprentice Kai. Preet went on to say that Mr. Grant referred to Kai as Kamikaze Kai. Preet had taken offense to Mr. Grant's comments and considered his comments to be racial slurs and debated either to confront Mr. Grant or talk about racial motivated comments and mutual respect among employees in the workplace. We decided the latter was the best direction to take and agreed that Preet would speak on the topic at the 6 a.m. meeting without mentioning Mr. Grant's name, in the hopes it would be enough to resolve the issue and prevent it from happening again. As you will recall, Preet did speak to the issue on Wednesday, March 21, 2018. Mr. Grant, who was present, came forward and said you were probably referring to me. Mr. Grant took full responsibility and apologized in front of the entire group. Mr. Grant then turned to me after everyone was given their job assignments and said he shouldn't have referred to Muhammad Khan as Akbu Akbar. He didn't even realize it was about Kai until Preet told him directly. On Wednesday, March 14, 2018, Mr. Grant made a racially disparaging comment to me by saying I should go stand by my two sons, referring to newly hired LA trainees Parm and Gagan. All three of us are of ethnic coloring. I responded saying that was a racial comment. There was no response from Mr. Grant at that point. Then on Thursday, March 15, 2018, prior to the 6 a.m. meeting, I was standing with Parm and Gagan, and Mr. Grant made yet another disparaging comment towards all three of us. He referred to us as Curly, Larry, and Mo, and laughed. As you know, Mr. Grant was insinuating we were the Three Stooges. Then on Friday, March 23, 2018, I was sitting in the lunchroom with my switching partner, Dave Desagne, LA trainees Johnny, Parm, and Gagan. All of a sudden, Mr. Grant walks in and makes yet another disparaging remark towards me in front of all of my colleagues. He says I have a low IQ and starts laughing. I ignored the comment. He went on to say the comment for a second time. At this point, I responded by saying there's a million comedians out of work and you're trying to be one, and walked out. I was disgusted and ashamed to be working with someone that tried to demean me in that manner. In my almost 37 years working for Canadian National and Via Rail, no one has ever spoken to me like that. This kind of behavior has no place in the workplace. I would like to note that these last comments were made after Preet's talk on Wednesday, March 21, 2018, and demonstrate his understanding of his behavior is zero and his public apology carries no weight. I feel it necessary to formally complain in writing. I would also like to note, when the day shift swiped out this last Monday, March 26, I heard Mr. Grant blurt out Kamikaze Kai once again. In closing, I certainly hope this complaint is dealt with in an appropriate manner, a written apology given to all involved, and assurance that this type of behavior will not occur again. Thank you sincerely. Herc Kalergis, Locomotive Attendant, 703060 is his employee number, addressed to Steve Sylvester, the Senior Manager. Now here's where it gets interesting. March 28th is when I reported to my senior officer in regards to Dave Desagne being harassed by Mr. Herc Kalergis. April the 11th now, I'm now given this exhibit. The other thing I wish to mention is he insinuates me being racist on March 14th and March 15th. Now in regards to my first investigation, March 14th is the day before the pull-apart happened regarding my first investigation, and March the 15th, again, insinuating me being racist on March 15th, the day the pull-apart happened. See how these are all correlating dates here? Now, once I received this, I immediately knew the seriousness of this document. So, what did I do? I immediately created a character reference letter. And it states at the very top here, I consider Adam Grant, in brackets, locomotive attendant, a positive influence and a man of good character. He has never made any degrading remarks or any racial comments in my presence. His behavior at work has always been professional. There's the name, the signature, the date, and the employee number. Now here's the thing. Regarding Mr. Herc Kalergis' letter, not one single person mentioned in his letter ever once went to management and never went to Mr. Herc Kalergis to complain or ask to be put in a letter. Okay? No one has ever made any complaints about myself since being with the company. So, in fact, the interesting thing also, so I got over 50 signatures here from all walks of life: gay, black, Spanish, East Indian, Canadian, gay, you name it. Like, I'm friends with all sorts of people. Now, the other thing in regards to Mr. Herculergis's letter, Mohammed Khan was mentioned in his letter. He signed my character letter reference. Kai was mentioned in Mr. Herculergis's letter. He signed my character letter reference. Johnny Huynh was mentioned in Herculergis's letter. He signed my document as well. Also, Gagan was mentioned in Herculergis's letter. He also signed. And Parm Takar was also mentioned in Herculergis's letter, and he also signed my letter. The only person that did not sign my letter was Mr. Dave Desagne. For fear of reprisal, Dave told me that he was scared that if Herculergis somehow found out that his name was involved on my character letter reference, that something bad was going to happen to him. And I'm going to prove all of this because I have audio clips with Dave Desagne. I have audio clips with Foreman. You're going to see throughout all these investigations that I have more than enough proof to clear my name. So I had this on April the 12th. Now guess what? Why would management be upset that I have character letter references? They did not want me to do this. I also started to keep a logbook to which I have signatures of Foreman. You're going to see it all. Now, I have Kai. He also wrote me a nice, beautiful letter on April the 11th, 2018, and it says here, in regards to Mr. Adam Grant's character, he has been nothing but kind to me since I joined the team with Via Rail. He has always been friendly to myself and others. As I have observed, Adam always greets me with a smile and asks how my day is going, and is always going out of his way to keep morale up out on the floor. The other letter that I have here is from another employee. He wrote me up a beautiful letter, and it says, to whom it may concern. My name is Christopher Flaherty, and I am a diesel engine mechanic at the VMC and co-workers with locomotive attendant Adam Grant. I met Adam when I started working at the VMC, and I've had the pleasure of working alongside Adam for almost 2 years. Since day one, Adam has always been a great coworker. When working together, he communicates well, acts professionally, does his job effectively and in a safe manner. I find Adam to be self-motivated. When he is not moving equipment around, you will find him cleaning the shop, helping out his coworkers, or taking on small projects to help improve the shop floor or make it safer. He is always willing to lend a hand to whoever needs it. Conversations with him are funny, entertaining, and kept appropriate for work. He has a positive attitude and will go out of his way to cheer up a fellow coworker when he or she is feeling down or having a bad day. In conclusion, Adam is a hard-working individual with a great work ethic. I look forward to working with him for many more years to come. Sincerely, Christopher Flaherty. Okay? So these are from all people that I work with on a regular basis. Afternoon shift, morning shift, like all shifts. I've never had this happen to me ever. Now, the other thing that I wish to present to you is, look, on the day of March 26, he refers to this date, Mr. Herculergis, that he heard me blurt out Kamikaze Kai once again. I actually spent the day on March 26 consoling Mr. Herculergis. He had shared with me intimate details in regards to his wife's illness, also some of his family situation. Right here, I have proof from Mr. Herculergis. And look, you will see, Monday, March 26th at exactly 2:58 p.m., and it's myself sending this to him. Just want to send good vibes to you and your family, man. One day at a time, take care. And he wrote back to me at exactly on March 26th at 3:07 p.m. Thanks, Adam. Have a good afternoon. So, how do we go from here to here? The only thing that comes to my mind is because this first investigation where I brought up valid safety concerns and that also possibly I might have hurt his feelings by not having him represent me as a local chair, but I only thought that I didn't want to have him there was because of a conflict of interest because he was also involved in the pull-apart. So here you have it. Now, a very serious letter. So the other thing I'm going to play for you now is a audio clip for a conversation between Dave Desagne and myself on exactly Saturday, April the 14th.
It's kind of like that all the time.
Well, all I've tried to ever do is just come here to do my job and make this like a positive place,
Yeah.
you know? And sometimes,
It's hard to understand what's going on with it. He's not even there. It's like, why are you writing a letter on vacation time and then you create all that mess and not even there? And you got to deal with it. It's like, okay, like, can you defend your point? Like, can you be here at least, you know? It's like I would go to Cancun and write a letter about hurt. We'll probably be like, fuck. I didn't do it when you're here.
yeah. Well, that's, you know, yeah.
Especially, like, we would give some slack to Luca and people who are like, obviously like super lazy and like almost retarded like Luca. It's like, fuck man, look at the guy who was just walking around the shop. And I was like, what's wrong with this guy? And he would like him, right? More than you. Look at the two new guys. They're retarded too. It's like, oh yeah. And he's like, buddy with them right away. It's like, what's about you? Like, what's wrong? Why you wouldn't be any better than those guys? Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You come here, you do your job, like, in the yard, like you go get the switch super fast and jumping in and out of the cars, you're doing your work like really great. What's wrong?
I don't know.
Really, right? It's just, I think there's just another person who just doesn't like you, that's it. But it doesn't work that way. Like, this is like a job, you just cannot just say I don't like somebody.
Well, and then to create like false allegations like that.
That's the worst you can think.
Yeah. And that's something like I consider very serious.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a defamation of character.
Yeah.
And not only that, Dave, but it's a threat
It's
a threat to my reputation here.
Yeah.
And it's a threat to my job.
Yeah, I know, it's like really, like, how can it be worse than that?
You know?
It's
And you said that he was trying, like when you phoned him about the letter, you said that.
Yeah, I just wanted to know why, like, he's doing
And
that.
you said that he's backed me up into a corner.
Yeah, he was saying, oh, with this letter, he's got no way out. That's the word he was using.
That I've got no way out.
Yeah, with this letter.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means. I think it means maybe it's like, oh, okay, he's gonna put you in trouble. That's what he wants, right? And you cannot escape it. It's like, what the fuck? It's so weird. And then basically, I talked about it for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, okay, like it's okay, have a good vacation. I didn't know what to say. It was kind of like terrible. It's like,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. Like, damn, man, is getting crazy. Like, he's like losing it.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, some people want to get older.
Yeah.
It's kind of like disturbing.
Yeah. Well, especially since I sent him that nice text message, basically.
Yeah, it was like telling you, thanks, Adam.
Yeah, I wished him and his family well. Like, we had a heart-to-heart on the 26th. I gave him a big hug in the lunchroom. You know, we both got really teary-eyed because it's like, hey, man, like,
Yeah, and I don't get it.
we're all human beings here, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, when people are going through things, it's like, I want to be there for them, right?
Yeah.
But,
It's just like, it's almost like shocking to see, like, okay, what he did.
yeah.
That's why I wanted to know, okay, like, is he all there? Like, is he just, like, using it? Like, what's wrong with that kid?
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's just strange.
Yeah.
Because I know it's lazy. I know he's always been repeating the same old stories. But now it got to a point, it's like, okay, now he's making, like, statements to another unionized, like, about you, who are part of the unionized employee too. it's just going against you. Like, why go after like a co-worker like this?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess,
It's really bad.
yeah.
I think you're doing really good. There's lots of people that have been like scared of just like do nothing and just accept it. It's like, oh, okay, like, you know.
What do you mean, they cower? Like,
Yeah, exactly. They will just like, you know, like me in the past, it's like, fuck, I don't want to fight back.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing pretty good.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. You're doing very well too, man. One
I
day
find
at a
it
time.
really, really sad, this situation. I just
Yeah.
don't still coming up here. We're just trying to accomplish. We're all here to work and we're all here to get along. And the thing is like, okay, it's like, he doesn't want to do his job.
So that's the first audio clip out of several that I have with many people working at VRL. I'm going to play you another one. I have witnesses for all of the audio clips that I'm presenting in this presentation that can attest that the people that I'm saying who they are who I'm saying they are. So if I say an individual is Dave DeSonia, I have a witness that can attest that that is his voice. If I say, hey, you're going to hear certain foreman voices in some of these audio clips or managers, I have witnesses that can attest that they are who I am saying they are. I'm now going to play you a clip from Mr. Dave DeSonia from also Saturday, April the 14th, 2018.
I don't know what Kirk is thinking and that, it's all been quiet. I didn't talk to him on that news. Imagine just before we called it and say to like an abuser or something.
How long has he been, like, bullying you?
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. How long has he been... He's been
Since
bullying...
day one.
Since he became a local chair, or...
It's always been an local chair, like when I was here.
But, like, has he... So how did he start bullying people then?
It's always been like that. Like, it's like always giving your work to someone else and then he goes sits in the car.
Yeah.
It's always been like that.
And, like, that time where, like, for instance, like, with the recent job bids, he was bullying you then as well? To pick a different shift?
He was just telling me, oh, you know, you're crazy and stuff like that. If you don't take that shit, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm like...
And he said he wouldn't talk to you no more?
Yeah. I'm like, fuck out of that. And this, you know, I was like scared because what is doing, it's like happening with you. Right?
Yeah. So...
Most fights you have to put in. Like,
yeah. So you've seen him bully, like, other people around here at the workplace?
like London.
Okay. What did he do to Mohammed?
Like he was like in training, like with us, as like an alley.
Yeah.
And it's like it wouldn't really give him a chance to become an LA. It's like it's almost like he wanted him to not be in LA and just like make him fail. That's what I think.
Yeah. But, and like, have you seen him directly harass and bully people here? Like, with your own eyes?
Like,
So, Mohammed, you've seen him harass Mohammed directly with your own eyes?
no, I mean, I was training him, right? We're both together, and Mohammed's kind of like doing like Johnny, right? It was just like following us around.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really be nice at all. I was just like, I'm thinking, oh, okay, you know, he's never going to be a good LA.
Yeah.
Look at this and look at that. So it's already almost decided it's never going to be an LA.
And so, like, with the recent job bids, like, you wanted the Monday, Tuesday off before.
I thought about it, but I gave up on it.
But you gave up on it because you were being bullied by Herc.
I'm not sure, like I gave up. You know, like, it's not the end of the world. I thought, okay, like, if you want to kind of talk to me more, it's kind of like a big deal or it.
Yeah.
I just, like, rather take for it instead of
Yeah, because you didn't want to have him harass you further at work. Just like to create any, like, problems, right?
I think so. Like, I just the way that it's going on. It's like, okay, you know, like,
Yeah. So do you feel like he's abused his power as a local chair? Like,
I think, you know, be on the ground like 2 days in a row, like Monday, Tuesday, like stuff like that. It's kind of like, you wonder why, like, someone, if it wasn't like, with the seniority and me and the rep, wouldn't be able to do that, stuff like that, right?
okay.
I remember, like, when I was a janitor, like, all summer, why you want to do? I wouldn't be allowed to do any kind of overtime because I'm a janitor.
And so he wouldn't allow you to do any
I
overtime?
went to talk to him and I'm like, fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's like, okay, that's fire.
you're left to your own devices.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, Dave, that like you've had to like put up with a lot of that kind of stuff here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're smart and you're just like, okay, I don't mind fighting back, you know, you're like brave water. It's just like, fuck, I'm doing it. A lot of people, like, they will just give up, like, you know, like, oh, whatever.
Did you see other people give up around here?
But I think, like, all of us will kind of give up in the past, you know, like, Sid or Dan Reaper, like, they don't their own letters. They all have issues, like, it's because, let's say you come afternoon, and it's your at 2 o'clock you come in, and you see the cabin's not been cleaned, you know, the switching has been botched, you know? So
Switching has been botched?
I mean, like, you know, like the moves have been like, oh, okay, you could have done this, could have done that. He knew, but he didn't do it. He didn't tell the foreman or nothing. Just kind of let it go.
Yeah.
He's got that needs to be in. Yeah, you're like, I have so much to do. It's like, fuck. That's the way he was for me for many years when I used to vacation relief.
So he was leaving the work for other guys to do? Yeah. Okay.
That was really bad.
And Sid and Dan wrote letters in regards to this?
In the past, I did talk about it many times. The farmers would get away with it.
And why do you think he gets away with it?
Because he's union rep.
Because he's the union rep?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. And have you ever put this in like writing or like complained to the foreman?
Nothing in writing. I've talked to the foreman many times.
Okay.
Like just in person like this, see what they're thinking. Oh yeah, it's that. It always says that it's going to change. And it's got to change, but then nothing changed.
But then nothing changes. Okay. And so you feel like basically like that if you don't do what he says, that you're going to get in some kind of trouble. Like if you.
Oh yeah, a little bit because it's like man, it's easier coworkers and it's like so you got to do what you got to do. It's like if you don't do it,
Yeah.
and in trouble. Like look at you right now. Fuck with that leather. How much energy I have to spare to fight back, you know?
Yeah. So you feel like I'm being harassed now?
I wouldn't like to be in your shoes.
Yeah.
Shit. Because that's the thing when I phone him, like, to say, hey, what's going on with that letter and all that stuff.
With my letter?
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's no way out for him. And I'm like, man, this is not the base.
Yeah. He said there's no way out for me. Okay.
Like, with that letter.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
it's like it's almost the other side of your feet. It's like, I don't know, I've never done that to somebody that, you know, to just go on the skis and try to make like try to put you in trouble like this.
Yeah. No, it's like, you know, I mean, thanks for letting me record all this and, like, you know.
I felt bad about that because, you know, like, it's been going on for many years and that's why all those guys write letters. I can't refer. It's like, no, they weren't thinking it's really stupid to show up at 2 o'clock. And it's like, why this guy's not getting in like, trouble? Like, you see, you're being accused to be a racist.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, like those guys are like complaining for so many years that it's not equal. That's what I'm talking about. Like the workload, like on day shift, it's like super easy. Come in and joke like it's like a nightmare. Right? You switch for like 6 hours in a row. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've worked the afternoons. So in your mind, you feel like he comes in and doesn't do his fair share.
Like the treatment of paper.
And that basically he can get away with it here because he's the union rep. Huh. Well, I don't think that's right.
Well, it's never been really right.
Yeah.
It's like, and now I see you like struggling with it. It's like, oh, fuck, that's not.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, hopefully, you know, I just.
Well, I mean, you said you had all those letters, you got like people like to support you on this, you should be okay.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, thanks for sharing all this, Dave. You know what I mean? I hope, like, we all have a positive workplace to come to. You know what I mean?
Like, just take one person, you know? Like, on one foreman or one employee, and everything is ruined. It doesn't take much.
Yeah. So you think that, like, do you think if Herc wasn't a union chair, then it would change?
But then, yeah, you know, the author maybe he's going to retire.
Yeah.
But he did. It's still sticking around, and now it's like writing letters about like you're being a racist and stuff like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, if you want to start doing stuff like that, why don't you just go retire and go, you know, have a nice peaceful life instead of like creating tensions?
Yeah. Creating problems for other people at work.
Yeah, it's like, and you know, we're going to deal with this. It's not even new.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, what do we do? You're being investigated and it's not even new.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to check the dumpster, like if it's full or not.
Okay.
It's been 1 week, it's full.
Yeah.
It's really disgusting, man.
No, I
It's
know.
been rocks coming off of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some work done too. But thanks for sharing. And you know, Dave, like, I'm sorry that you've had to go through this here at Be Real.
And that's the way it is, man. It's just like nuts.
Yeah.
I thought it was seniority, and then I realized, oh, okay. It's also because it's just only red.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
Because I work with other senior people like Sid and Dan,
yeah.
or Bill, and it's completely different.
They all worked hard.
Yeah, they all do their share, you know. But you know, because they're different.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'll be around.
Yeah.
There you have it. That's a conversation with Dave Desanya and myself, and you can hear him like mention Mohammed and how his fate of being a locomotive attendant got shifted sideways. And these kind of things are not fair. It's not fair for someone to be able to just create a letter and ruin a person's reputation. You got to think about this. You're messing with people's lives here. And it seems to me, in my humble opinion, that some of these people, they don't care. They're willing to do whatever it takes to try and ruin somebody's reputation and career. And I just want to expose this and bring it to light and clear my name. Okay, so the April 16th investigation happened from 7 o'clock in the morning to 11 p.m. In attendance was Sean Terry, the manager, who was the investigating officer, and also Ron Shore, who was my regional representative for Unifor. Now, the exhibits was the letter from Herc Colurgis dated March 27th, Code of Ethics, a copy of the VIA Workplace Violence and Harassment Prevention Policy, and also the character reference from Union given at commencement of this investigation. They asked me if I wished to have this investigation in French or English. I responded by English, gave my name, Adam Grant, PIN number 705179, and service date of May 1st, 2015. I was given proper notice to attend. I responded yes. Do you have a duly authorized representative with you? I stated his name, Ron Shore. Mr. Grant, please see Exhibit 2. Are you aware that Via Rail has a code of ethics? I responded by saying yes. I've read the document thoroughly and love that I work for a company that holds itself to such high standards in regards to the code of ethics. Mr. Grant, please see Exhibit 3. Are you aware that Via Rail has a workplace violence and harassment program? I responded by saying yes. According to Exhibit 1, you were making comment towards Kai Izawa. Is that correct? I stated in regards to Exhibit 1, I was commenting on Kai's Halloween costume that he had told me about. I have also provided a letter from Kai to clarify that comment, to which no racial slurs were made or degrading remarks. Also, Mr. Kai Izawa signed here that he states, I consider Adam Grant, locomotive attendant, positive influence and a man of good character. He has never made any degrading remarks or any racial comments in my presence. His behavior at work has always been professional. And then they asked, so saying Kamikaze Kai is not a racial slur? I responded by saying, no sir, nor was it ever intended to be one. Kai had told me this. And he was the one that stated Kamikaze Kai. So, do you think other people can be offended by racial remarks even if the person you directed them towards them don't find them offensive? I'm like, first, there was no racial remarks made. However, if there were racial remarks made, then as per the Code of Ethics, yes, it would be considered that way. On March 21st, did one of your colleagues talk to the group during the morning meeting about the Code of Ethics, the harassment policy, and how everyone has a need to respect each other. I said, yes, Preet Singh spoke about such a matter in the morning meeting. In Exhibit 1, paragraph 3, it states that this was talked about in the meeting. It states that I apologized, but I never apologized. I did state that in regards to the Code of Ethics, which Preet was discussing, that I will be responsible for anything that I say and all my actions at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. That is what I said. Now, they asked me, that you admitted to the group in that meeting that you made comments to Mohammed Khan as Akbu Akbar? I said, no, sir. And please see the document that Mohammed Khan signed stating that I, Adam Grant, have never made any degrading remarks or racial comments in his presence. Again, Mohammed Khan, his signature, date, and employee number. I consider Adam Grant a positive influence and a man of good character. He has never made any degrading remarks or racial comments in my presence. His behavior at work has always been professional. During the morning meeting, did you apologize for any comments that you may have made that could have offended anyone and that you wouldn't do them again? I responded by saying no. In Exhibit 1, Mr. Kalergis states that you made a racially disparaging remark by referring to the other new hires as his sons. Is that statement correct? I said no. I never made any racial disparaging comments. Please see the document that I provided with Gagan's signature stating that I've never made any disparaging remarks or comments while in his presence. In regards to the two sons, what I was referring to is in the union we consider each other brothers and sisters. Herc is the senior man, Parm and Gagan are the new hires. I meant this comment as them being part of the team. Again, Gagan and Parm have both signed my character reference letter stating that they consider me a positive influence and a man of good character and that I've never made any degrading remarks or any racial comments in their presence. His behavior at work has always been professional. It says here, you mentioned that Gagan signed this document about you not making disparaging remarks. Did Parm Takar sign it? At this time, Parm had not. So I put here, I haven't had a chance to speak with Parm, so no. But Parm did sign my letter. His signature is right here. Employee number 705427. His signature is right there, and Gagan's 705426. His signature is right there. It says here, after you made that comment towards Mr. Kalergis about his two sons, did he inform you that he felt it was a racial comment? I stated no. Are you saying Mr. Kalergis is lying? I'm saying that there was no comment made, is how I replied. There was then a break, that we had a break. And then they started off with a question, why would Mr. Kalergis make up this comment? I put no comment. In Exhibit 1, after Mr. Kalergis said to you that he felt it was a racial comment, you had no response. Why? I stated there was no comment made, so how could I have a response? Again, please see the signed document that I provided with Gagan's signature stating that I've never made any degrading remarks or racial remarks in his presence. They then asked me, did this conversation between you and Mr. Kalergis regarding his sons happen in Gagan's presence? I said, I believe so. I said, again, please see the signed document with Gagan's signature. So if Gagan was asked the comments regarding Mr. Kalergis and his sons, would he collaborate your story? I've responded by saying, I think he would say that the comment about the two sons happened, but he would say that it wasn't a degraded comment or racial slur. Please see my signed document acknowledging that. In Exhibit 1, Mr. Kalergis states that you called Parm, Gagan, and her Curly, Larry, and Mo and laughed. Is that statement correct? And I put no. So that comment never happened? I said no. Then they asked, you are saying Herc made this comment up as well? I said no comment. Is it possible you forgot that you made this comment? I'm like, no. In Exhibit 1, Herc Kalergis states that you told him he has a low IQ and laughed at him in front of his colleagues. Is that statement correct? I said no. Please see the document that I provided with Gagan and Johnny's signature stating that I never made any degrading comments in their presence. Also, in regards to this section, I've been told by Herc Kalergis many times that there's a million comedians out of work and you're trying to be one. He says that to everybody all the time. So again, Gagan's signature and then Johnny Huyn's signature right there, employee number 705265. They then asked me, on March 26, Herc Kalergis states that he once again heard you say Kamikaze Kai. Did that happen? I stated no. The day of March 26, I spent most of the day consoling Herc. We had a heart-to-heart conversation in regards to his wife's illness and his mother's illness. I even sent him a text message at exactly 2:58 on March the 26th that states, "Just want to send good vibes to you and your family, man. One day at a time. Take care." And it had the emoticon, "I'm praying for you," to which he responded at 3:07, and it says, "Thanks," with the praying emoticon. "Have a good day." And again, I have a copy of this exact text message right here. And this is the exact snapshot of the of that text message. And look, Monday, March 26, 2:58 p.m. "Just want to send good vibes to you and your family, man. One day at a time. Take care," with the corresponding emoticons that I talked about. And then it says, "Thanks, Adam. Have a good afternoon." March 26, 3:07 p.m. 2. Hercules Calurgis. This is a snapshot from my phone that I printed. Now it says here, so you're saying Herc made up another comment that you said never happened. Are you saying almost all of his letter is false in regards to any comments that was made against you? And I responded, I'm stating that it looks like this letter has been orchestrated in a way to deface my character and reputation in the workplace. And please see all of my supporting documentation and character reference that supports my character and reputation in this workplace. In regards to Exhibit 3, Section 11, it states, where, and this is why I put this from the Code of Ethics, where it can be established that an intentionally false or frivolous complaint has been filed, or that someone under VIA's direction has refused to participate in an investigation, appropriate disciplinary action will also be taken. I basically put that because it says here, where it can be established that intentionally false or frivolous complaint has been filed, disciplinary action will be taken. I thought I had enough proof at this time, but they didn't know about my audio evidence yet. That, like, for instance, like the stuff that I have from April the 14th with Dave Desaulniers, and the stuff that you're going to see when Dave returned from vacation. Dave told me everything, that he's had to do these kinds of things before. You're going to see it all. And you're going to also see the audio evidence that I have from the foremans, exactly the day that they came after me with other investigations, proving all of my innocence. You're going to see it all. Now here it says here, are you stating that Herc's letter was intentionally falsified? I responded yes. When did you receive the call for investigation in the exhibits? April 11, 2018 from Mr. Sean Terry. Did you show the letter from Herc Calurgis to other employees? I said, in regards to Exhibit 3, Section 9, it states the confidentiality of information related to a complaint is critical. All parties must not to comment on or discuss violent situation except with person who must be informed. The people involved in this investigation were the people that were mentioned in Herc's letter, that were ones that I showed the letter to. They were all surprised that their names were mentioned when they never approached Herc, that Adam Grant had never made any racial comments or degrading comments about them. I feel that Herc Calurgis is in breach of confidentiality and has made an intentionally false and frivolous complaint. Please see all of my supported documents supporting my claim. Again, every single person mentioned in Herc Calurgis' letter, Muhammad Khan, Parm, Gagan, Johnny, Dave Desaulniers, and Kai, not one person ever approached management ever, or approached him or anybody that I had done anything like he had stated in this letter at all. It states here, you previously stated you only showed people Herc's letter. Now you're saying that Kai got a copy. Did you make copies for anyone else? I stated I made a copy for Muhammad Khan. How many people did you show Herc's letter to? I only showed it to Kai and Muhammad because their names were involved. You stated in Section 9 of the harassment policy, it states the confidentiality of information related to a complaint is critical. All parties must not to comment or discuss violent situation except with a person who must be informed. And then they say here, so you decided on your own that these people must be informed? I put no comment. I thought, why are you asking me this question? Don't you think if the situation needed to be informed to any other individuals that the company would have done that? I put, I don't know. Did you write the letter of your own character reference and get people to sign it? Yes. How many signed it? I put, currently I have 28. But again, over 50 people I got signatures on my character reference letter. How many people work at the VMC? These are all people that I regularly work with, and I don't know the exact number at the VMC. But again, I actually went and did a snapshot, which I have on my phone here, pictures for every single person that works at the VMC, not in Mission, but at the Vancouver Maintenance Center and over on the baggage people. And I have many signatures with all the people that I worked with. Did you approach these employees to show them what Herc Kalergis had written about you? I said, no. What reason did you give to them that you wanted them to sign this letter? All I stated to every single person, it was just for character reference. I asked. Nobody was forced to sign my letter. They did it out of their own free will. And people wanted to help me. They thought I was applying for another job or one of my other charity events. Do you think that approaching these employees and asking them to sign this letter could be intimidating to the employees? I said no. Actually, there was a lot of love and support, and we're more than happy and willing to sign my character reference. Do you think taking a letter of harassment from your accuser and showing it to anyone is in itself a form of harassment? I put no comment. With all the examples of the racist and personal harassment given in the statement from Herc Kalergis, you state that none of it happened. Is that correct? I put here, I was saying that there was never derogatory statements or racial comments made towards Herc Kalergis or anyone else in that letter. So you never have made any derogatory statements or racial comments to anyone at any time while at work? I'm like, yeah, that's correct. Adam, do you have anything relevant to add? It says here, I put let the record and documents that I provided speak for themselves. And then they asked Mr. Shore, do you have any relevant questions that you would like to ask through me? And he responded, yes. Number one, up until the recent allegations, would you say you have had a good working relationship with Mr. Kalergis that was open about work and non-work matters that included some very personal family matters that were discussed the day before these allegations on March the 26th? I said yes. Number two, do you know for any reasons as for why Mr. Kalergis would make up any of these allegations about your conduct in the workplace? I said no, I don't know why. The possibility might be his personal problems might be affecting his work life. And then it says, Adam, are you satisfied in the manner what this investigation was conducted? And I responded that I will let the record speak for itself. So basically, then they said, hey, the contents of this investigation will be reviewed and you will be advised that this isn't in accordance to agreement number 1. So all the pages here were signed. Again, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. is when this investigation happened on April the 16th. And I'm going to show you now, again, the only person that didn't sign my character reference letter for fear of reprisal was Dave DeSaulnier. So you're going to see how now the supplemental investigation, the next one that I get called to, what transpires, and I'm also going to show you the audio evidence of how it's all been set up. Now here's the thing. Wednesday, April the 18th, 2018, 1:17 p.m. Addressed to all the foremen, Alan Kosh, Bradley Smith, Adam LaChapelle, Evan Sharando, Luke Warren, Stephen Sylvester, and Gary Balamatowski. It states here from Sean Terry, effective today, Johnny is no longer in the locomotive attendant position. He should be coded 8 hours pay for today and 8 hours for tomorrow to finish off the pay period. He report back to the station services. So I remember the day they finally decided to just get rid of Johnny. Again, you remember the first investigation. It was me, nobody else. I went to Johnny with him. We had a good chat. To his locker, he cleaned out all of his things, and I walked with him all the way back down to the baggage side. Now I'm going to tell you, people are scared, and don't want to go to the Vancouver Maintenance Center. You think, hey, you get this opportunity, you're working for a federal company. This is Canada. You think people over on the baggage side want to go over to the Vancouver Maintenance Center to work, to become locomotive attendants or other opportunities that transpire, but they don't. And you know why? Because this management team basically puts the fear of God into frickin' people and run it like a concentration camp. So you're going to see. Mohammed Khan ended up leaving from stores, who was involved in Herc's Kalergis letter. Sean Terry grabbed that letter from him, and they started giving him bad energy. He left. He went back to the baggage side. Natalie Obadia, who was working up as a secretary, who you're going to see is one of my witnesses in regards to when I got harassed from Stephen Sylvester on April the 27th, who is one of my witnesses. She ended up leaving back over to the baggage side, and now she's working for the RCMP. So we're going to keep moving on here, and I'm going to show you more evidence and more investigations. So on April the 20th, 2018, I received a call to a supplemental investigation regarding the investigation that happened on April the 16th. This is now a supplemental investigation towards the investigation that happened on April the 16th. And it states here, Dear Mr. Grant, this is to advise you that you are hereby notified to attend a supplemental investigation to determine the facts and circumstances surrounding a violation of the Code of Ethics and a violation of the Workplace Violence and Harassment Prevention Policy. The investigation is scheduled to take place on April the 25th, 2018 at noon in the boardroom at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. And it is from Mr. Sean Terry, the manager and investigating officer. Now he provides me with with Exhibit 1, which is a letter. Now, this is where it gets very surprising. It is a letter from Dave Desaulniers, written at exactly 12:32 p.m. Monday, April the 16th. Exactly 1 hour and 32 minutes after this investigation finished. So, Dave Desaulniers was the only one who didn't sign my character letter reference, and so now they're trying to find a way. And you're going to hear the audio. Dave tells me it all. They got him to write this letter. Okay, you're going to see the audio proof that I have. Now, the other thing at this time is I was keeping a detailed logbook every single day. And again, they provided me the second exhibit the day before the investigation. I'll tell you all about this. But first I want to read you the letter now that Mr. Dave Desaulniers, which was addressed to Stephen Sylvester, Alan Kosh, and Sean Terry. It states here, April 11, 2018, Adam Grant approached me with a paper written by Herc Kalergis. It was a formal complaint about a bunch of comments made in the past by him. Adam Grant. He said none of these comments are true, but Johnny and I remembered the comments made in the lunchroom, so he was already making a false statement to me by saying none of the comments of the letter were true. He asked me that day to write him a letter saying this complaint was unfair, that he was a good employee and have never been racist. You shouldn't make any comments like that at all, racist or not. He had a pile of Herc's letters, at least 15 of them. He was going around the shop asking all employees for letters to support him. So he came again that day and said people are writing letters to support him, and was I going to do the same? I decided to call Herc to tell him about the situation. Herc told me to not get involved with him writing letters, so I said, okay, no problem, I won't. So the next day, first move of the day, I'm up in the cab on C5. Adam comes up in the cab and asked me if I wrote a letter for him overnight. I said no, and stop asking. I was getting mad and he wanted to shake my hand. I said no, I'm not shaking your hand. So he left the cab and we started switching for a couple of hours. Lunchtime comes. I'm sitting in the lunchroom. He comes in and he is sitting at the table next to mine. He said I got so many letters already, so I didn't really reply to him and kept playing with my cell phone. All of a sudden he came up and sat just in front of me, like 1 inch from my face. He does it often, and I told him numerous times to stop doing that. But again, he did, and present a poor handwritten letter. He just wrote quickly, please sign this. It's just to say I'm a good employee and that you appreciate me. So I told him I'm not signing this and stood up and left. he kept going for the next couple of days and asking me over and over, talking about the situation. In the weekends, there's not much employees and no supervisors, so I had to face this pretty much alone. In conclusion, it looks like he was harassing me. He tried even some bully tactics. I don't understand why. When you say no the first time, he kept asking for days. Dave Desaulniers, employee number 704-526, locomotive attendant. And when I received this, again, you hear in the audio evidence, Dave Desaulniers says I'm like Braveheart, and that I'm standing up, and that I'm trying to prove, like, or I'm showing, like, he's saying that I'm standing up against her color, just in all of the audio evidence. When I received this, when he said that I was like Braveheart, when I got this letter, in that movie Braveheart, when he goes to, one of his friends ends up letting him down, that's exactly how I felt with this. And the thing was, it was written on April the 16th, exactly an hour and 32 minutes after the investigation on April the 16th, the first time. I would then go on my days off on the 17th and 18th. Dave Desaulniers would then go on vacation on April the 18th. I wouldn't see him until May the 20th. And that's when he tells me everything about what happened, about how Steve Sylvester and her Kalergis brought him up into a room and got him to make this letter so that they could pin this investigation on me, to which I ended up receiving 40 demerits. You're going to hear all this audio proof. The other thing that, while I was doing my logbooks, every single day, it states here, April the 18th, up to and before this date, locomotive attendant Adam Grant completed his work in an efficient and timely manner. His behavior and work ethic was very professional. Again, I got a foreman to sign this, Evan. I did this on every single day for the next week until I was told exactly on that management would no longer sign my logbook. See, they didn't want me. Why wouldn't they want me to be able to keep track of my daily activities and my behavior? This is like, I'm being accused of some major things here, and everybody in the shop supported me here. But again, I'm going to show you the audio proof now from May the 20th, and you're going to hear now the what's transpired. But before I get into that, here is the document where it says my name, Adam Grant, locomotive attendant, employee number 705-179, reasons, violation of violence and harassment in the workplace policy. Now, I received 40 demerits here. You have to have 60 demerits to get fired from the company. Okay? This was given to me by Sean Terry, the manager, and he asked me to sign it. I signed it. Now, here's the thing. I didn't know, because I've never been in a union before. I thought my regional representative, Mr. Ron Shore, would dispute this immediately. And he had said, Adam, they're trying to railroad you. He called me while I was at the gym. So you have up to 21 days to dispute this. I had no idea that I had to dispute this. I thought my regional representative would be disputing this. But again, I had no idea. It was my first time being in a union. 21 days would go by, and I wouldn't find out till a later date that now they've stuck me with these 40 demerits. And I believe that the union guys, like Mr. Herculergis and Ron Shore, are like this, so that way Mr. Herculergis wouldn't be proven at fault here. You're going to see my audio proof from Dave Desaulniers is coming up. Just stand by. So the second exhibit that they gave me for the supplemental investigation at noon on April the 25th, 2018, the day before, was a exhibit sent from Bradley Smith, the foreman. Again, he was the foreman in the first. He was the acting foreman from the first investigation that happened in regards to the pull-apart. He was the acting foreman. So here we have it on Tuesday, April 24th. And I had already sent these copies of my logbook in, but here we go. It says, "Hello, Sean. I want to point out a situation that occurred recently. Preet Singh had asked to talk in the morning gang meeting regarding code of conduct and negative behavior towards others. He spoke about racist comments and how they can affect people. During the talk, Adam Grant stepped forward and said that I believe that he believed the talk to be a result of comments he had made. He apologized to the group for anyone he had offended and said he would keep comments to himself moving forward. Brad, sent from his iPhone. Now here's the thing. Again, I stated in the investigation that I never ever did such a thing. I basically said in front of the group that I will always be responsible for what comes out of my mouth and the actions that I do at work. I believe in the code of ethics. That's all I did. They were trying to misconstrue something, and this was the exhibit. Now again, I have my logbooks from when they would sign my logbooks from April 18th to the 22nd, and I'll show you right here. I have Mr. Bradley Smith's signature exactly 4 days before they got him to send this email. It's Friday, April the 20th, 2018. Up to and before this date, locomotive attendant Adam Grant completed all his tasks in an efficient and safe manner. His behavior and work ethic was very professional. I put all my duties, switching, cleaned and signed off the 6436. Did it alone. Reported that locomotive attendants cannot have cell phones on duty as per CROR. It's strictly prohibited because, again, Mr. Kalergis has always been using his phone while on duty in the cab. I've got evidence. And also, I did janitor duties, and authorization was given for L.A. Gagan to do ground by L.A. Herc Kalergis and lead Harpreet Singh. So foreman, there's his name, Brad Smith, his signature, my signature also. It's right there for everybody to see. So that was 4 days before they got him to write this email, which I don't think they saw in their inbox when I provided all of this for the supplemental investigation. So the supplemental investigation happened at noon on April the 25th, 2018. And who's the officer of the company, the investigating officer? It's Mr. Sean Terry, the manager at the VMC. Purpose of this investigation: determine the facts and circumstances surrounding an alleged violation of the Code of Ethics and violation of violence and harassment in the workplace policy. List of exhibits: letter from Dave Desagne, Code of Ethics via Workplace Violent Harassment Prevention Policy. Employee statement from Adam Grant on April the 16th, email from Bradley Smith, and a package submitted by the union. Do you wish to have this investigation in French or English? I said English. Adam Grant, PIN number 705179, and service date May 1st, 2015. Were you given proper notice to attend? Yes. Do you have a duly authorized representative with you? Yes. Ron Shore acted on my behalf again. Are Herc Kalergis and Dave Desagne both fellow locomotive attendants which you work with semi-regularly? I stated yes. According to Exhibit 5, Brad Smith states that Preet made a statement in regards to code of conduct, negative behavior, and racist comments. Also, that you stepped forward and said that you believed the talk to be a result of comments you had made. You apologized to the group for anyone that had been offended and said you would keep comments to yourself moving forward. Is that statement correct? I stated no. In Exhibit 4, Question 10, I commented on this statement. So your supervisor, Brad Smith, is incorrect about his statement. I said, yeah. In regards to that, I have a signed document that states up to and before this date, locomotive attendant completed all his tasks in an efficient manner. His behavior and work ethic are very professional. Again, that is the snapshot from my logbook, which has a signature of Bradley Smith stating so. If Supervisor Brad Smith signed this document, do you think it means that he didn't witness you apologize to the group? I said yes, because I didn't apologize to the group. According to Exhibit 1, Dave Desagne states that you approached him with a paper with the allegations made by Herc Kalergis. Is Dave's statement correct? I stated no. So Dave made up that approach with the Herc statement? I said yes, that is correct. And you're going to see all this with my audio proof. I have tons of audio proof. You're going to hear it from Dave Desagne's own words. Did you approach Dave Desagne about this matter at all? I said no. I approached Dave in reference to my character, letter reference, which you guys have already seen. In exhibit number 1, Dave states that you told him that none of the comments were true in regards to the letter Herc had wrote about you. Is that statement correct? I said no. Dave DeSanya goes on to state that he remembers the comments made in the lunchroom and that you were making up a false statement. Do you have a comment to that? I said, I don't. I wasn't told by Dave anything like that. In Exhibit 1, Dave DeSanya states that you had a pile of Herc's letter copied. Is that statement correct? I said no. In Exhibit 4, on question 34, you stated that Kai and Mohammed Khan are the only people that got a copy. Do you still stand by that statement? I said that's correct, and one of those letters got taken away from Mohammed Khan by Sean Terry, the investigating officer. If you didn't hand Herc's letter to people, did you leave them around for people to see? I said, no, sir. I'm not sure if there were copies made by Mohammed and Kai or even the one that you took from Mohammed. In Exhibit 1, Dave DeSanya states that on April 11th you approached him to write a letter saying the complaint was unfair. Is that statement correct? I said, no, that statement is incorrect. So what did you ask Dave to do on April 11th in your words? Nothing. I didn't say anything to Dave. Dave also states that the same day, April 11th, you came back to him to say that other people are writing letters to support you and he was going to do the same. Is that statement correct? I put no. Every single person on my character reference letter was on the 12th and after. And I can show you those dates. Those are, so here we go. Did you approach Dave on April the 12th to discuss a letter? I asked Dave DeSanya in regards to my character letter reference, to which he decided he wanted to sign my character reference and to wish to remain neutral for fear of reprisal and harassment from Herc Kalergis. I have this in the investigation. On Wednesday, April 18th and Sunday, April 22nd, I reported that Herc Kalergis had been harassing Dave DeSanya to the foreman. Also in the investigation on March 28th, I reported the same issue to you, Sean Terry. Did Dave DeSanya tell you he was being harassed by Herc Kalergis? I put several times, yes, and you guys have heard the audio proof, which they never heard. What is the harassment that you speak of from Herc Kalergis to Dave DeSanya? Dave DeSanya won the Monday, Tuesday off, and Herc Kalergis said he would give him trouble and not speak to him if he didn't choose the Friday, Saturday. Again, I felt I had a duty to report just the harassment issue. As per the Code of Ethics, we have a duty and responsibility if someone states they're being harassed, so that's what I did. Did Dave DeSanya tell you to stop asking to sign your character reference letter? I put no. In Exhibit number 1, Dave states that you approached him at lunchtime and that you came up and sat in front of him about 1 inch from his face. Is that statement correct? That statement is not correct. Has Dave DeSanya told you in the past to stop getting so close to his face? No, I've always had a positive working relationship with Dave DeSanya. So why would Dave DeSanya write, and then it says, so why would Dave DeSanya write this letter about you harassing him? I'm not sure. I do find it interesting that this letter was sent 3 hours after our investigation. I also find it interesting that Herc Kalergis returned from vacation that same day. And in fact, the letter, Dave DeSanya's letter, again, was sent exactly 1 hour and 32 minutes after that investigation on April the 16th. The same day, Herc Kalergis came back from vacation. In Exhibit 1, Dave states he kept going for the next couple of days, asked me over and over, talking about the situation in the weekends. There is not much employees and no supervisors, so I had to face this pretty much alone. Does that statement sound like someone that feels harassed? I put no comment. In Dave DeSanya's own words, he states that you were using bully tactics and harassing him. Do you agree? No, I don't agree because that statement is untrue. How can you say that Dave's statement is untrue? Do you know Dave DeSanya's feelings? I put the statement as untrue. So between 3 people, Dave DeSanya, Herc Kalergis, and Brad Smith, you claim that all their statements are false. Is that correct? That is correct. Adam, do you have anything relevant to add that you haven't already said? I put April 14th, Dave DeSanya did explain to me in detail that he spoke with Herc Kalergis and that Herc stated that he has Adam Grant back up into a corner. You guys heard it on the audio proof there. Dave stated that, why are you doing this to Adam Grant? This makes no sense. These exhibits from Supervisor Brad Smith, Herc Kalergis, and Dave DeSanya that have been written alleging things that I did not do. I question why these have been written, as they seem to be collaborated to cause me harm, which I'm going to prove to you, all of you. Mr. Shore, do you have any relevant questions that you would like to ask through me? He said no. Adam, are you satisfied with the manner in which this investigation was conducted? I will let the record speak for itself. The contents of this investigation will be reviewed and you will be advised of this in regards to agreement number 1. Please sign to indicate the accuracy of this record. I signed, Ron signed, and so did Sean Terry. Now again, I ended up receiving 40 demerits for all of this on May the 4th, 2018 from Sean Terry. Here is a copy of the disciplinary measure. And I'm going to also now share with you, this was on April the 25th, okay? Now I'm going to show you guys the harassment thing that happened to me on April the 27th from Steve Sylvester, to which I have a witness. So on April the 27th, I put this because basically I was now going to be getting in touch with the ombudsman. I'd been under so much stress from these investigations and all of this, and again, you're going to hear all of my audio proof, okay? I can't reiterate that enough. But here's what happened on April the 27th. It says, to who it may concern, this is what transpired on Friday, April 27, 2018. I was cleaning the management office and washrooms. I finished the washrooms and started the other areas of the office when Steve Sylvester, the manager, asked if I put a piece of paper towel in the washroom toilet. I responded no, and he then called me a liar. I again responded by saying I did not put that in there, but I can take it out so nothing gets stuck. It was one piece of paper towel in there. He started to unbuckle his pants while in the doorway. I asked Steve Sylvester to kindly go use the foreman washroom so that I can remove the one piece of paper so that if it does get stuck, it will be easier to fix without human excrement inside the toilet. He then kept unbuckling his pants and pushed the door closed hard. I was shocked. He then came out of the washroom and said, I don't like liars. I said, I'm not a liar. And he then began shaming me in front of other people that were busy working in the office. He then went to his office. Another man then went in to use the washroom, and I told him in French when he came out about the piece of paper and asked if the toilet was working fine. He responded, yes, the toilet is fine. I then asked Natalie Obata, who was the secretary for the main office, if she could witness me and help see that the toilet was still working fine, since she had heard what was happening and was close by for what had just transpired. I pulled the lever and held it for about 3 minutes, and the toilet was working fine. Natalie Obata then went back to her desk. I then see my local chairperson, Herc Kalergis, go into Steve Sylvester's office, so I went in and again explained the situation. Herc Kalergis and Steve Sylvester said, I've had enough of, and he said, I've had enough of you, meaning me, and he also stated that I should go home. He also said not to use the private shower in the foreman's washroom anymore. I've been using that shower with permission since I started at the VMC with VRL because I mentioned to management that I had had a staphylococcus infection from using a public shower before, and that the private shower I can clean easily before use, meaning I can disinfect it because it's a small shower instead of using the big union shower. You're going to see all this, okay? Now all of a sudden Steve Sylvester is saying I'm not allowed, all because of one piece of paper towel in the toilet. I bought the shower curtain for the shower with my own money, and I also bought cloth hangers for the foreman and myself. I had it all nicely set up. I bought a shower curtain. I got individual cloths so that everyone could have a nice clean shower, but hardly the foreman ever used it, just mainly myself, sometimes Evan. But it says here, I responded by saying I'm always here to do my job, to do the best of my abilities, and that I had just cleaned all the washrooms downstairs. I would also like to mention there were times where I'd be cleaning the washroom and he just walks in and starts using the washroom, Stephen Sylvester, peeing and talking to me, which made me very uncomfortable. He also stated one time to me that he is the one here at the VMC carrying the biggest nuts, and then motioned to his private parts. Other people have mentioned to me similar issues regarding Steve Sylvester and his demeaning behavior. I also explained to Herc Kalergis why I asked Steve Sylvester to go use the foreman's bathroom. Steve Sylvester even mentioned to Herc Kalergis that his belt was unbuckled. I then left to carry on my duties, still shocked, and they continued to talk. I then went back and filmed the toilet working with my cell phone for proof and cleaned the rest of the office and men's locker room. The foreman, Alan Kosh, radioed me and asked about my location. I responded I was cleaning up the men's locker room. I left my buggy in the office because it was uncomfortable for me to complete my work there. I went back later and finished the office, and Alan Kosh was there with Steve Sylvester. I continued to work and the list of tasks they wished to be completed for the day. I have a video on my phone recorded of the toilet working fine. I also spoke with Natalie Obata after the matter. Natalie Obata, the secretary, is also available for comment for her witness statement. I put her number here. She has also recently disqualified herself from that position because of the bad energy that has been happening. Kind regards, Adam Grant. So this is what happened on April the 27th. And I have a video proof on my cell phone, which I'm going to show you guys for me. And I also, on that day, to cover myself, because I didn't know, they were coming after me. So what I did is on April the 27th, I have it here in my logbook, harassment by Steve Sylvester. Also, at 3:30, Gary Balamatowski had spoken to me a couple days before and told me about the EAP program. He told me he had been in some kind of situation, and he just gave me the number. I booked an appointment with the EAP in regards to coping with harassment, and I booked an appointment for a counselor exactly for Wednesday, May the 9th, from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. His name is Anthony Paragus, I think, or Parasis. Anyhow, I filled out one of my PSIs, and here it says, did all tasks in a safe and efficient manner, and that all toilets are working fine. Sorry, it was this one here. Janitor, all washrooms at the VMC clean and are in good working order. I didn't know that if somehow like they were going to plug the toilet, I felt like they were going to do something, and at least I'd have a piece of paper to say that I've checked it and I got a foreman's signature there. So now I'm going to read you Natalie's statement that she sent to me by email. So on April 27, 2018 at approximately 11 a.m., I, Natalie Obadia, witnessed Stephen Sylvester humiliate and bully Adam Grant. At the time, Adam was assigned to janitorial duties, and Stephen asked Adam, "Did you put this empty paper towel roll here in the washroom?" He asked this question in a very condescending manner. Adam said he did not, and that he would not leave an empty roll like that in the bathroom. Then Stephen, as if mocking Adam, kept on talking about the toilet paper roll. This conversation lasted for at least 10 minutes. Where Stephen kept mocking Adam. Adam remained completely calm the entire time and spoke in a respectful tone. It is my understanding that on the same day, Stephen continued to harass Adam Grant, but this is what I witnessed, and I feel it is important to share this, as no manager should talk to any of his employees with such disrespect. Sincerely, Natalie Obadia.
Doing, but he had Chris Flaherty in his office with someone else, I don't know, and he was fucking carrying on like a fucking neurotic fucking housewife screaming at him. This is Steve.
Steve Sylvester was yelling at Chris.
Yeah, screaming and hollering. And so when I see that go on and I see his foreman yelling at people, I realize how fucking pathetic these fucking people really are. There's no fucking leadership skill here, zero. Anyway, these are just spoiled little fucking kids who fucking went from fucking playing computer games on the fucking phone to being a boss somewhere. Ooh, look at me, I'm a boss. And so when the crunch comes down and we're faced with challenges, this is how they respond. They flip out, they scream and holler, and they act like fucking spoiled little children. This is the extent of their leadership talent, is to yell and scream. This is all they have to bring to the table in the way of fucking dealing with challenges. And so it's here we are in fucking start of June. And this is what we're looking at for leadership. Wait till August.
Well,
This is nothing.
yeah, well, who knows if I'm end up being here. Hey, Gabe, I got another call for another investigation.
For what?
For,
So the other thing I wish to mention is because of these investigations and the harassment I was going through, I was spending a lot of time at the coffee bar documenting all of this, especially with the case with Senior Steve Sylvester's harassment issue there and all of this. I was getting in contact with the ombudsman, but nothing was happening. So the other thing that happened was there was a bulletin that came out for a position in the stores department. I wanted to move from being in LA into the stores for 6 months. It was a seasonal, full-time position at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. I applied on May the 1st, 2018. My signature's all here. And this is the seasonal position would go from May the 18th to October the 15th. I figured, hey, it would get me away from all of this for 6 months. But this would not be the case. And you're going to find out what they ended up doing, and I'm going to show you. They ended up giving the position to 3 junior guys, got that, and I didn't get the opportunity, even though I was the senior man, and I had more experience in stores than any of the 3. They just got hired on in baggage. I'd worked in stores when I first got hired on my first year, once a week in stores. So I was more than qualified than any of the junior guys. The only thing was that I never received official training. They just shoved me in there once a week. You know. Okay, so I have another hazard identification here, dated May the 3rd, from myself for unsafe act, unsafe equipment, unsafe condition, unsafe use of equipment. May the 3rd. Again, unqualified people in the Vancouver Maintenance Center operating cranes. When person told foreman he is unqualified, was told to use crane anyways. What was the potential consequence? Never been trained and can result in an accident and operating illegally. Recommendations to prevent recurrence. Have unqualified people trained. Only qualified people to use crane. Corrective action taken, pending, but reported in this document as a corrective action. So there you have it. And again, this is just an ongoing issue, as you can see. And so then on May the 4th, like I mentioned before, 3 days after I applied for this position, I ended up getting the 40 demerits from the investigation from Herc's letter and the investigation regarding Dave DeSanya's letter. But all this is going to be clear here. Okay, so in my logbook here for May 9, 2018, Natalie Obadia, she disqualified herself as a secretary from the office because of the bad energy. Also, this was the day that Mr. Herc Kalergis and Steve Sylvester left property together in Steve's car. This was also the day that Mohammed Khan disqualified himself because of bad energy. Also, this was also the day at 1 o'clock that Herc and Sean Terry met me in the office to give me my 40 demerits. I spoke with Ron Shore regarding 40 demerits and to grieve them. He also mentioned at this time, just to stand by and take it easy. This was also the day that the EAP, Employee Assistance Program, called me, where I spoke with Anthony in regards to being harassed at the workplace. Anthony, I'd spoke with on the phone for about an hour, and he told me to continue to do what I was doing in regards to reporting and documenting any further actions that are going to come against me. I told him about it all, and he was quite helpful. It's a good thing that we have an EAP program, but again, he can only do so much as a counselor. This was also the day that I called the Ombudsman, Louis, and left a voicemail again in attempts to contact him for assistance also. On May the 10th, I reported another in my PSI here that no blue flag protection on C6 while workers were working all day. Got the foreman to sign, and it says Adam Grant was working in a very professional and safe manner. So again, I have that signed. Okay, so on May the 11th, I was switching with Mr. Herculergis. He was driving, and basically what had happened was a major incident. I had put in control, as the ground person, we were coming into track S1, and the foreman, Alan Kosh, had requested for control of the move. He was on the trailing end of the train. We had established proper communication so that the driver and that the foreman and myself, that the control of the move was now going over to Alan Kosh. During this time, he was making up, he was getting the train to back up. About 5-10 minutes had passed, and then all of a sudden he screamed on the radio to come to an immediate stop. What happened is one of the RCTs, whose name is Devin, was, first of all, the via controller hadn't walked the train properly when the control of the move had gone into his possession. And one of the RCTs was doing work. He put a hose in one of the cars when the train was stopped. Alan had got the train to move again. Basically, as the train was backing up, the hose was still connected. The RCT went to try and get the hose out. It ended up wrapping around his arm and throwing him quite far. He ended up hitting his face on the ground, and it ripped out the hose casing and gear. I'll show you guys photos of this. But the reason why this is important, because I'm going to show you in my next investigation what Alan Kosh had told me at another date in regards to foremen being able to switch trains. So yeah, so that was May the 11th, and that's in my logbook there. I got, again, they wouldn't sign my logbooks anymore, so I just kept keeping track anyways. May 17th. They give it to 3 junior guys that applied. I applied for all the positions, and it states here, Mr. T. Wong, seniority date, May 7, 2018. Alex Cabana, April 4, 2017. B. Meldrum, seniority date, May the 7th, 2018. Now, how come the senior man, my seniority date is May 1st, 2015, none of these guys have any experience working in stores? I applied, but management kept me from being able to move into stores, so that way they could, I was going to get further harassed here, and you're going to see it all. I'm going to show you, but here's the actual documents of me trying to move into a different environment and get away from all of these allegations and investigations. They kept coming after me. I was spending hours in the coffee shop documenting everything. I got in touch with the Ombudsman to no avail. He was going down to the United States, and then he said he'd make an attempt to come out to Vancouver, but he never did. So I'll move on. I'm going to show you some more audio evidence.
How's Natalie doing? Is she okay?
Oh man, she's so happy right now.
Yeah, why did she leave?
She didn't like the atmosphere in there.
In the office over here at the VMC?
The whole VMC.
Yeah. Dave's been under a bunch of stuff too?
Yeah, I've been squished. I had to write a letter too.
See, he had to write this letter basically with all these false allegations about me because he got fucking pressured. It's like, how is that fucking fair? You see what I'm saying, Johnny?
Yeah.
So I just got 40 cookies.
Yeah.
Because they fucking brought him into a room,
Right.
told him, hey, you write this letter and then go on vacation. And then fucking I have to deal with this while he's away. And now,
Those are tactics.
see the tactic? Trying to get me fired. Ron Shore, the guy above Herc, said, hey, Adam, they want to railroad you. And I didn't know what was going on, but hey, deep down in my heart, I knew that Dave Desagne, this is not Dave. Dave and I are friends.
Yeah.
You know, I did my taxes over at his house.
Yeah.
You know, Dave, we've been good friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, they put him in a fucking corner, up in the office there. Steve Sylvester and fucking Herc. Tell him to fucking write this letter about me. And then I get 40 fucking demerits and almost fired.
Oh no, they keep investigating you more.
Yeah.
Mo got a call from someone that Cynthia's locked in her office. She was locked in her office. Anyways, while she was locked in her office, all the supervisors were all outside of the office and they were scheming something.
Oh yeah.
And
The supervisors were outside of her office scheming something?
they were all like cuddled together, and then they were scheming, I think, how to get rid of you or something. And then Mo,
Get rid of me?
You gotta talk to Mo. And then Mo walked by because he was supposed to open the door for Cynthia.
Yeah.
So he came in there and he noticed all.
So I just don't know why they need me for all this shit. You know? Why they cannot just talk to you and solve the problem?
Well, you know why?
Without
Because
using me?
with remember my character letter reference? You said, hey Adam, I want to stay neutral because you were scared Herc was going to come after you.
Yeah.
So like, you know what? I understood that. So your name was the only one on Herc's letter that didn't sign my character letter reference.
Yeah.
So that's why they wanted you to write that letter.
Yeah, so it's like it's a master plan.
Yeah.
They knew about it already. They had talked about it.
You see what I'm saying? By that day, when I first seen it, like I was like,
Come on, I mean, you know.
I felt hurt because I'm like, you know, Dave's Desagne. I'm like, there's something else going on here. So I'm like, so I didn't take it personally because you know what?
I guess it's bad, but it's like,
Because I said, you know what? I know Dave Desagne. Like, Dave Desagne is like a good guy. Like, and me and you've been friends since I started here.
I know it sucks.
You know? And then at the same time, I understand your situation because, you know, you got a daughter and all this stuff. Like, you know,
I put me in that situation for many years too.
see, I didn't know that. Yeah. You know?
He says they put me in this situation many times. Dave, throughout this audio stuff, which I'm going to show you, he's been made to do these kinds of things for management several times because he feels that if he doesn't, they're going to come after him.
Doesn't matter to them if it's showed up. They just want to like go against you and find something that to give you a hard time, whatever they can find.
So they just used you to create that fucking...
Full hand sandwich.
Yeah, and squeeze me, and squeeze you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't want to be part of this. I told them so many times.
Yeah.
Maybe we should finish this.
Here is where you're gonna see where Dave is asking me if they've ever asked me to do like special missions. Just check this out.
I think Chappelle was okay with it, and everything, so it's kind of like this guy.
Only because I wanted to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
So they never asked you for like special missions?
No, no one's ever asked me to write letters against other employees, Dave. No, never. And in
I
fact,
guess you've been lucky enough
but
to write that for long.
Yeah, I thought like, holy crow, like, you know, and I wish maybe, like, I just didn't know that you've been going through this.
Yeah, it's been good. Like I mean, since I've been working with you, I was like, the beginning was okay, but since I've been working with maintenance, sometimes it's a different world.
That's what other people have been telling me now.
Yeah.
See, I was kind of like always optimistic.
Yeah, I know.
you know, and always trying to be a positive influence, right? And other people know that, but then like I had no idea this like kind of dark energy has been
Yeah,
here,
it's really
man.
bad.
You know, Dave, I did not know.
And it's like an artist is saying they keep investigating you like 3 times a month. It's like, fuck, why do that?
Yeah.
In their plan and all that shit, and I told them like $10,000 to be part of this, right?
Yeah.
And they kept bugging me. And it's like, okay, so they've been blind there for a while.
Against me.
I guess so, yeah. Or maybe other people too.
Yeah.
It's only you.
No,
But
but
Mohammed is not here anymore, Johnny, Natalie.
yeah,
And I thought that those people will be here forever.
I thought so
Happy,
too. Yeah. Every time I was talking to them before, but like, you know.
It was so happy to be in the store. I was like, oh, this job is awesome.
So were they asking you about to do things for other people or just me? Like they had a master plan for me, you're saying?
Yeah, like usually, like it's, yeah, they ask me. Or like in the past, they wanted me like to talk against you and something like that.
Okay.
But that's like a little while, but I never did that.
Yeah. So, but they've had like a master plan against me.
I think so.
Yeah.
They're picking up on here. I just really wonder why. I wish I could just like figure it out. Like, okay, what's the reason? Like, why they don't like you? Because they didn't like you at the beginning. So something happened.
Yeah.
I wish I could just be honest and say, okay, we don't like you because of this. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, next time somebody face and stop playing games and just sit down and what the fuck's going on there. It's
Yeah.
like, well, we have to do all this.
Well, and then what I don't understand is that they're open to like talking with certain people to get them to try and write or to get them to write letters against people.
Yeah, well, why? Like, why are the companies asking you this?
Yeah. But did you like ever tell them to fuck off? That you didn't? Like, did you tell them, hey, I don't want to do that?
Yeah, I said no at the beginning many times.
And they kept asking.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. It's kind of weird.
I wish I could leave too, but I don't know where to go. I mean, like, unless I go back to the day. But then, if I was single, big deal. But I don't know, all my plans out there, it's super, the thing's super complicated. It's like, oh my god.
So, like, do you feel that, like, if you hadn't have made that, like, you know, that false letter about me, do you think, like, they would have tried to fire you?
No idea, I don't want to know. But everybody did to John.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Dave?
You know, like, from this, you know, don't want to deal with those guys. It's like, okay, like,
So then comes May the 24th, and now I get another call to investigation. It says, Dear Mr. Adam Grant, this is to advise you that you are hereby notified to attend an informal investigation to determine the facts and circumstances surrounding insubordination, not listening to supervisor's instruction. The investigation is scheduled to take place on May 30th, 2018 at 8 o'clock in the boardroom at the Vancouver Maintenance Center in accordance with the collective agreement number 1, Rule 2, 4.2. Please ensure you have a duly authorized representative with you. Regards, Sean Terry, and it was CC'd to the local chairperson, Mr. Herklergis. And so the exhibit was one of the exhibits here. There's 3 exhibits actually in total. And then actually what happened was Mr. Sean Terry forgot about the investigation for May 30th. So then I get a call, I get a new call for investigation. And again, it's in regards to insubordination, not following supervisor's instruction. The investigation is scheduled to take place on June 1st, 2018 at 9 o'clock in the boardroom at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. Again, regards Sean Terry. So the 3 exhibits that we get here now, I'm going to read to you. Now, the insubordination basically comes, this investigation is for me using a private shower in the foreman's change room. Now, I've been using that shower since I began at Via Rail. I had permission from Diego Mendez. Everybody knew that I was showering in there. I bought a brand new shower curtain. I bought brand new cloth holders. I got different colored cloths for the foreman, and I set it all up. I don't like showering with a group of men in a shower, and at the same time, I'd gotten permission because of medical reasons. I had a staphylococcus infection many years ago that was a serious injury, and it came from showering from a public shower. And I have medical proof for all of this. But the thing was there was never any issues until now. Again, this was another reason to come after me and directly attack me. So here's the dates. So Sean Terry, he put together an email here, sent Thursday, May the 10th, to Stephen Sylvester. So, and it says, today at 2:10 I went to the supervisor change room. See, my shift had already finished at 2 o'clock. When I went to enter the door, I found Adam Grant coming out of the supervisor change room. I asked Adam why he was coming out of the change room. He told me that he was showering in there because of a medical reason. He said he had permission from the supervisor since the beginning. I asked him, the supervisor gave you permission to be in here? He answered me, yes. He went on to talk about his previous investigation and how we were going to move forward from here. Stephen Sylvester then came into the hallway and joined our conversation. He asked what was going on. Stephen Sylvester asked, were you in the supervisor's change room? Adam said, yes, I have a medical condition and the supervisors have given me permission to. Steve said, I know the supervisors talked to you about not using the supervisor's change room. Why are you lying? Adam said, I'm not lying. Steve then said, are you saying that I didn't ask you last week if you were still showering in the supervisor change room and you said, no, I never go in there? Adam answered with, I thought when you were talking to me it was in the heat of the moment and you didn't mean it. Steve said, didn't the other supervisor ask you to not shower in there anymore? Adam responded with, Alan only told me to clean out the locker I had in there. I had a locker in there, again, since I began with VRL. It was in the foreman's change room because nobody was using the foreman's change room at that time. In fact, I organized a full locker cleanup for all of the lockers that had locks on them still that weren't still being used but had, so we went through and started getting all the lockers organized, and I personally cleaned them out. I did the same thing with the unionized men's change room. I cleaned up over 100 lockers, organized the locker cleanup program, and the foreman and everybody was actually quite happy about this because there had been stuff in there that had been left for years, like people that had retired, people that were no longer with the company anymore. So it was a proactive approach to help get, because I knew there'd be new hires coming in, I wanted there to be space. So at this time, which I'll get to, but anyways, it says here, Steve responded with, so they never told you to stop showering there? Alan and Brad are lying to me and you are telling the truth? Adam said, I'm not saying they are lying, they just told me to clean out my locker. I said to Adam, I thought you told me you have permission when I first asked you. Adam responded with, yes, I did. I said, well, we were going to ask the supervisors if they told you to stay out of the shower or not. We said bye to Adam and he went into the unionized change room. Steve and I went to Steve's office and Adam arrived again about 5 minutes later. He started talking about his medical condition again and saying that he is a hard worker. He asked if there is something he can do, and Steve said, no, it's time for you to go home now. Adam started talking again and Steve said, this matter will be investigated. Please leave now. Adam left the office. I then got a call that Adam Grant was downstairs pleading his case to Brad, Luke, and Evan instead of going home as Steve had asked him to do. What I'd done is I'd gone down and spoke with the foreman and basically stated that I meant no disrespect if I was using the foreman's private shower, that I'd been using that for a long time, and they all knew that. In fact, there'd be times where they'd come into change and we'd be having friendly conversation and joking around like normal human beings should. And I'd done this since I began. They all knew that I was in there. They knew that I bought the shower curtain. They knew that I kept it all clean in there. I was doing janitor duties and all of these kinds of things. And so, again, if I'm guilty of using a private shower, then I'm guilty of that. But I stated to them I won't use it ever again, and I'll just shower at home from now on. So again, Bradley Smith, he sent this on Friday, May the 11th, and it says, hello all. Yesterday afternoon at around 2:20, 2:30, Adam Grant came into the super office downstairs wanting to talk with us. He said he was not to use the manager's locker room anymore, and that he was under the impression that he was allowed to use the showers. That was my impression. About 2 or 3 months ago, I had a discussion with Adam about this very topic. I told him he was not to be using the manager's locker room. This is not true. At that time, he said he thought he was allowed to use the shower, but not any lockers. I told him I was unaware of the arrangement, but that moving forward, he was not to use the facilities. Yesterday, he told me he thought that we had talked about a staph infection last time this came up, and that I had agreed to let him use the shower. I told Adam that we did not talk about any infection, that I had made it clear last time we talked about it that he was not to use the manager's locker room for any reason. This is not true, and again, Bradley Smith was the foreman from the first pull-apart. Adam went on to ask if it had something to do with his performance. I told him that it was nothing personal or performance-related. He continued to ask if it was because we were upset with his performance or if we were upset at him for bringing up issues in his hazard identification forms. I know this has been brought up with him by myself and at least 2 other management staff in the past, but he doesn't seem to accept the message. Brad. So on November 28th, 2017 at exactly 10 a.m. in my logbook here, I did speak with Alan Kosh. So he is correct. In November 2017, that we did speak. And basically what happened was there was an overtime shift for janitor. Herc Kalerja said did a no-show. He didn't show up for work. Foreman Al said that Dave is in and that I will do janitor duties, and that they're not going to cover the extra shift. I seemed confused and thought that it was weird and that they weren't going to call an overtime shift for the missing union member that wasn't there. Al said that they were not going to call for the overtime shifts and asked me if there was an issue regarding this. He also said that if there were no switchman, like an extra switchman, that he could move the train. So since I'm going to be janitor and Dave Desagne was in, he said he was basically saying that he could move the train with Dave Desagne and be a switchman. So I asked if he was qualified to do so, and he seemed offended. He responded by saying, yes, he is qualified. He also stated that Foreman Bradley Smith is qualified and that he has driven the train before. This came to me as a big surprise. I then walked down to Sean Terry's office and I asked him, I said, hey, is this possible? I said, is Bradley Smith and Alan Kosh both qualified to be able to move train and act as switchmen? To which he stated no, that it is possible for a foreman to direct movement from the ground, but only a very simple move, he stated. Alan Kosh then approached me after, because I'd gone back to work. He then approached me after and got right in my face. He was offended that I went and spoke with Sean Terry. He said, why did you go speak with Sean Terry after I said that I was qualified? I said, I spoke with Sean Terry. I responded by saying that I just want to make sure that everyone is safe in the shop, and I want to know the rules for who and when someone is working with me is qualified to do so. He then told me to remove my lockers from the foreman's change room. So at that time, he had told me to remove my contents from the foreman's change room, basically because I had just tried to make sure that, you know, people are qualified or unqualified like I've been doing throughout this whole thing. So he was upset and told me to get all my stuff out of the foreman's locker room, to which I did so. Now at this time, nobody had ever told me that I was not allowed to use the private shower. I continued to use the private shower. There was no coaching sessions. Nobody ever once came up to me and said, Adam, do not use that shower. Until April 27th in regards to that harassment case, which I mentioned with Steve Sylvester. He first told me. So I did use it once more. And so in regards to that, I guess being now their case for insubordination, then if I'm guilty of using a private shower once more, then I am guilty of that. So, but I'm just reiterating, here's how this whole story transpired. And again, it does come from like all of this. And so here's And I'm going to show you guys the audio clips that I have from the foreman for these next two investigations you guys are going to hear here.
That's funny. No, but people they don't want to come over to the VMC to work from the OBS side because
they want that?
What we're saying, Johnny, Natalie, fucking Anwar, Luca. I mean, all these people, man. But people in agreement one shouldn't be scared to come over to the VMC to work. This place should be a place where people have opportunity and a job, and not be picked on and bullied and harassed. You know what I mean?
I know, but what can we do about it?
This should not be the way that the world works here.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the proper leadership?
The problem is, it's never gonna change if it's it's like a corrupted government. When I went to Mexico, it's never gonna change because it's all corrupt. It's the same way. It's all corrupt,
Yeah.
And it's like they want to keep it the way it is, so they can keep control on the people, the money, the equipment, everything, right?
Well, I mean, that's normal running a budget and and running payroll. That's like any business.
Yeah.
I've ran a business.
Yeah, I know, but that's not.
So, but I never bullied or harassed or did strategy or fucked up tactics to control people at my at my work sites. So you and I, we've been pretty much friends since I've started here. We've always had a good working relationship.
Yeah. It's just excuses. You go in the shower, big deal. It's just the end of.
I've been using that shower since I started here.
Yeah.
You know that. Everybody knows that.
You want to take a shower there? Okay. It's not like you're stealing something. You want to take your shower there or there?
Yeah.
Still using the same water.
Yeah.
And then.
But and the only reason why they told me not to shower there, or sorry, to remove my stuff, was because I told Al he can't switch.
So it's always connected to another story, you know what I mean? They will give you shit because you did that, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's like, hey Al, if you can switch, then why the fuck am I here? Right? You're the foreman. Are you qualified to switch? Are you LA qualified?
Yeah.
And if you are, then great. Why am I here? Even today, Evan's the foreman.
Yeah.
Okay, what if Gagan he called in sick and then I call in sick and the train comes in? Hey Evan, are you going to do all the moves?
Probably.
Well, I asked Sean about this and he said no, they can't.
They're
Sean Terry's sick.
But they will try to sneak in. And do some switching on that's why it's
just like they get the apprentices to do work here that they're not supposed to when they're normally they're supposed to be working under a qualified journeyman.
I know.
This is all illegal.
Yeah. There you go. Welcome to VRM.
It's like hello. And I mean what I don't understand is that we're a government company. Aren't we supposed to be held at a higher standard?
It's supposed to.
Right? Same thing people that are in these positions, of manager of the West, aren't they supposed to be, and local chair, aren't these positions supposed to be held to a higher standard, especially in regards to the code of ethics?
I know.
Right? Meanwhile, what, you want to get my friend Dave Desagne to make a fake letter about me so you guys can ding me with more demands? Does this make any sense, Dave?
And then you got Adam the Chapelle, on Wednesday I'm underground for the West Coast.
Yeah.
He never talked to me all day. I had to ask Jake about the switching plan. I didn't know what time the train's coming in.
When was this? Wednesday. Yeah, I know.
What's wrong with him? Why he doesn't talk to me?
No, every week it's like that. He doesn't.
He's such a weirdo. And then the train showed up, and he's yelling on his phone, on his cell phone. And I'm with Jake, and Jake is trying to cover up on him and say, oh yeah, they're talking about something else. I'm like, yeah, but what's wrong with him? And the train's coming in. Why is he yelling on his cell phone?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna look in my files. And then he didn't talk to me all morning, and then he shows up all aggressive on his cell phone, yelling.
I heard he misplaced $30,000 and he doesn't know where to find it.
Yeah, he probably stole it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got a feeling that he's a crook too. But anyway, and then Laura Bino, she used to work here as an LA, but she's an engineer now.
Yeah, for West Coast.
Yeah, like she came off on the cab car,
Yeah.
and then she's saying to Adam LaChapelle, oh, no handbrakes. Something like that, right? That there's no handbrakes applied on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So he kind of looked at her, and he doesn't say nothing, so she said, no handbrakes applied on the West Coast. Kind of look at her, and she's like, did you get it? Like, no handbrakes?
Do you understand?
It's been three times I was just telling him. And he's just standing there and staring at something, and then she's like, okay, and then she kept going, and she suddenly started talking to me.
Yeah.
He was like fucked up in the morning, completely lost.
I think he has. I think Adam LaChapelle has serious fucking issues.
Oh yeah, scary.
You know.
It's really scary, man. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, how can that guy be working here
Yeah.
and harass people and never answer and never talk and be aggressive and violent?
Would you put that? Would you ever, like, say for instance, like, have you ever reported this to the ombudsman?
No.
Would
And
you?
I will not, because it will go on my case and I will become like you, or Bill Dunn.
I understand.
Yeah, so I'm like, fuck this. It's
Yeah.
not worth it. I know, man. I wish I could improve this case, but I gave up a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now the other thing I wish to mention here, and this is dated Thursday, May the 30th, 2018, and this is a vote of no confidence for VRL Local 4001 chair regarding Chairperson Heracles Hercules Kalergis. And it states here, and basically got a lot of signatures here, and it states, VRL members of Local 4001 would like to greatly express their concerns for immediate change and to have a re-election take place and a vote of no confidence regarding local chairperson Heracles Kalergis, Hercules. This action reflects the growing dissatisfaction and concern among members of Local 4001 regarding the leadership of Heracles Kalergis. Not one of Heracles Kalergis' campaign promises has ever been upheld while he has held this position. As a result, a growing distrust and the belief that he is abusing this position is currently considered to be the norm among members of Local 4001 at VRL. We wish to reiterate the fact that we would like to have a motion of no confidence take place and also have an election so that members can vote for new and more responsible people to be involved in the executive positions. The following is what has been transpiring. There has not been one union meeting held since the last election of August 2016. Members have stated that they cannot remember a union meeting being held since 2012 and consider this to be an embarrassment and a direct insult. Members believe that Heracles Kalergis acts more on behalf of management's objectives and not in the best interest of the union members who elected him and who pay their union dues. Now, members have previously expressed to Heracles Kalergis on numerous occasions their concerns to have all executive positions filled, but to no avail. The current local chairperson, Heracles Kalergis, runs the position much like a monopoly. When members try to become more involved, Heracles Kalergis tries to discredit them and talks behind their backs to other members. Instead, we believe he should be listening to their concerns, providing encouragement, and allowing active participation. Heracles Kalergis has also abused his position by personally going after local members and discrediting them to management, some of which have resulted in investigations. He also displays unprofessional conduct by discussing private matters in public. Some members also feel that he uses his position intentionally to intimidate them. Members would like to express their concern for an immediate change in regards to local chairperson. It says here, please accept our letter and signatures regarding the seriousness of this matter. We are hoping to have your full assistance and support. And you'll see here, these are all the signatures. Over 60% of people at the Vancouver Maintenance Center who signed this document. Now basically, the union, when this was submitted, basically never accepted this document because there wasn't one page with all of this information on it where each union member would sign. So they took this as not being able to be accepted. Now I'm going to tell you guys something. They were then told from another union member that basically that union meetings would start happening. Now, I haven't been with the company now again since June the 12th, 2018. And even to this date, none of the executive positions have been filled. No union meetings have been held. There was one attempt at a union meeting, but what I've been told is it's just garbage. Everybody has messaged me on my phone, called me, wondering how I'm doing. Again, I haven't worked, and again, this whole thing since I've been terminated due to wrongful dismissal, which I'm proving here, I haven't been able to collect employment insurance. But again, that's a side note. But again, the union, the judge had told me that basically they couldn't accept this vote of no confidence. But I'm just reiterating the fact that basically it's the same old, and that members of the union are basically, they still have this same mindset. There's no confidence in this member here, Oraculus Colergus.
Here's another example.
I don't have a lot of time here.
Oh, okay. Here's the other example. The other day, about maybe 2 weeks ago, they'd asked us because there was a runaway, or not a runaway, but the unit was started to move. And first of all, I thought, were they blaming switch crew for this? And then I found out by talking to the DEMs, no, they had removed the handbrake, and then all of a sudden the engine started to move. So that was the situation. So Sean Terry had brought it up that, hey, make sure that all equipment is secured. Mm-hmm. So anyways, Herc's doing a move with myself. I'm driving, and he's training the two new guys. And what does he want to do right after Sean Terry tells us to secure equipment? He wants me to go do another move and leave the 903 with no handbrake test, nothing. And fucking, this is the order of the day. Come back and there's no handbrakes on it, and the fucking air's bled off. That was the thing. So then next time I talked to the foreman about this, I said, listen, he said, stand your fucking ground. So 2 weeks ago, same shit. We got a fucking train here over on C4, 8 cars, 1 unit, and again, wants me to go fuck off to do another move. I said, no, I'm not moving. I said, we're gonna secure the unit, the handbrakes, and all this kinds of shit. You see what I'm saying? So, like, are we gonna be doing this the right way, or are we not gonna be doing it the right way?
You just secure the unit as per the rules. You don't need Herc to say, no, you can't.
Yeah, but see what happens is then, like, because I want to go by the rule, like, so you mentioned personality clashes. Well, yeah, because I don't want to have to, like, what? I can't retire right now. He can. So at the end of the day, who's going to be the one choking on a chain here? It's going to be me, because I'm like 3 years.
Give me an example of a rule violation or an incident that's happened out there that management has left under the carpet. The worst one you get to look recently.
Well, I mean, that great thing was the first one, no incident report, but like,
what thing?
You know, like that great thing that got ripped the fuck out of the M2 East, but like a lot of the times.
No, that was the water in the car.
Huh?
That was when there was water in the car and movement.
It's always the blue flag policy. I mean, I could like babysit that all day.
Fill up. Switch lock on. Foreman lock not applied. Again, that's about 6:10 a.m. on June the 2nd. And foreman lock is over here on the ground. Blue light, been like this since yesterday. Blue light, switchman lock, foreman lock, up above. Switchman lock, foreman lock not applied under a blue light. This happens all the time.
Okay, well, if you've got concerns with blue flag policy, you should be bringing it up to the health and safety committee. And Herc is the health and safety rep, or no, the guy mentioned this.
Well, he's agreement 3. There's currently no agreement 1.
Well, there has to be somebody representing you guys. By law, there has to be somebody representing you.
I think for now, Herc's just a stand-in for that position, I guess.
Yeah, it should go to Herc. If Herc isn't doing anything about it, you don't like what he's doing, send somebody to Ken Cameron. Because management has an obligation to follow the rules, the safety rules, all the rules, regulations are out there. Union has an obligation to follow them too. And if you're seeing something that's not right, you have an obligation to point it out. And if you're a health and safety rep and they're pointing it out, then you have to go over their head to do it.
Yeah. Did you guys look into that? I reported to Evan about the train being moved or leaving, like that incident with Herc, where he wanted me to leave the train with no handbrakes attached. Did you guys look into that radio? Because I asked Evan twice, and he said he was talking with you. You were supposed to look into that.
I don't know.
Pardon me?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. I mean, and it's tough to deal with generic things. I mean, unless me personally, I get specific incidents, as this happened at this time, and this how it played out, then I can deal with it. Now, you give me a couple of examples, but the broad spectrum of it, they're ignoring shit and sweeping things under the carpet. I can't do anything with that.
Yeah, I understand.
And, you know, my step is about 3 or 4 away from where you're at right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only going to get involved too if it involves the rule violations of the CROR, such as the handbrake policy.
Well, yeah. Use the crane and the overhead crane. Meanwhile, they've had
Concerns to your health and safety representative to be introduced at health and safety meetings.
Yeah.
It can't go away.
Yeah, but you know what happens is then, you know, you kind of, then you get attacked another way. So it's like you kind of get like reprisals for it. Like for instance, LAs have never been qualified to use the crane and the overhead crane. Meanwhile, they've asked us, and then at the same time I said, hey, like to one of the other LAs that recently got disqualified, Johnny, and I don't feel that he received proper training. But anyways, as soon as I filled out, you know, a hazard ID in regards to that, next thing you know, hey, like they start kind of doing things to me. So to me, it's kind of like, yes, you know, you start reporting all this kinds of stuff, but then next thing you know, hey, like...
Who are you reporting to?
Well, foreman and management, and that's just one big circle jerk around
Yeah, don't report. Who's the foreman? Is that a manager guy? Or who's the foreman? Is it unionized or management?
They're all management, yeah.
Okay, well, forget that. Go straight to health and safety.
So you look at...
Health and safety rep.
Well, we don't have a health and safety rep right now.
You have. You do.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've been preaching to Herc for like since I've been here about getting all the executive positions filled, and they're not. It's like right now there's he kind of stands in. He's the local chair, but like yeah.
Like I never had any coaching meetings whatsoever, and so this would have been brought up in a coaching meeting if I had one. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, that's 10 months.
Yeah.
Like 10 months without a coaching like sit down, like where same like you provided me a coaching letter one time. Normally, and you know, these kinds of things get like talked about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like I think like,
Well, we don't. Well, that's neither here nor there.
well, a lot of people get coaching sessions once a month at least. I thought it was something we're supposed to be doing on the regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like in one of those coaching sessions, like even the situation of like, say for instance, this current investigation of the shower would have been pretty much like brought up right away. But for the last 5 months, if you were to calculate 5 days a week that I'm here at work, not including overtime shifts and me using the shower, I thought like, hey, like if I had known November 28th that this is the golden rule, I would have never gone in there again. But to run into foremen in there all the time, have talks about work, a laugh, and then and now to be called to an investigation for insubordination, I kind of find interesting.
So we'll continue on here. 3 months ago, you told him you thought you could use the showers, but not any of the lockers. Do you recall saying that?
Yeah, that's correct. That I couldn't use the lockers, but I could use the shower. Yeah.
That's what we talked about.
Brad Smith goes on to state that he was unaware of this arrangement of you using the shower, but moving forward, you were not to use the manager's facilities. Is that statement correct?
I don't remember Brad saying that, no. But even after that date, you can add this, even after that date, I ran into other foremen that no one ever said anything to me.
So about that. So in your opinion, is Brad Smith's statement incorrect?
No, I would say there's just a miscommunication. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is the, why is
Yes,
it,
we do that at the end.
but why is it that, like, why is it that somebody can't, like, use that shower if they needed to use a private shower? Is there, like, is there written documentation that employees can't use those showers anywhere? Adam? Like, is there a sign? Is there some kind of thing that everyone can be aware so that nobody else runs into this situation?
Got some pad on the front that nobody knows the accommodation suit except for the janitors.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think it's well known that it's the management locker room.
Oh, okay. But, like, so if somebody wanted to use, like, what if there was, like, you know what I mean? Like, what if someone feels uncomfortable using a group shower and doesn't want to have, like, say, for instance, or has a medical issue? Like, how do you stop, like, something in the future from happening, like, for somebody else that may have this kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, so that...
Well, I think having two supervisors talk to them would be enough.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, what if somebody needed a private shower? Like...
I guess you just go home.
Oh, okay. No,
I don't
that's...
think there's anything in the collective agreement that says we have to supply people with a shower.
No, I was just asking. I mean, just in regards to common courtesy and respect for one another as human beings, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never showered once in this building.
Oh. Oh, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, like, after doing LA work, especially, like, if I'm been out in the yard, like, non-stop.
I can appreciate that. I think that's why I was put forth to do this investigation. So I don't have a stake in it. I don't use... I don't have a locker in there.
No. I mean, that's okay. I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what makes you feel uncomfortable about showering at work here? Like, do you find it's just, you don't...
I just live 15 minutes away.
Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I mean, at the same time, like, with the janitor, sometimes, I don't know, like, you don't know if they disinfected the showers, right?
If I got covered in something,
Yeah.
I would go out and shower.
Yeah.
But if a retention tank blew up, you got me.
It's an emergency, man. Yeah, right away.
I just live 15 minutes away.
Okay. So a lot of times, man, like, I leave here and, like, again, like, you know, since I started here, like, May 1st, 2015, I've just tried to, like, always put my best foot forward. I mean, I never knew that this situation was going to lead to an investigation ever. Like, you know, the whole 2 years I've been showering there and not one person ever said anything. How could I go 2 years? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, and I get it, like, I even cleaned out all the foreman's lockers, like, to make room for the new space, like I did for the men's change room. Nobody asked me to do that. I was proactive, so that, because I knew new employees were coming too, right? But like, yeah, I didn't know by using that shower that it was gonna lead to an investigation. It's just, have you ever had a staph infection?
Yeah, we're all on dirty mats, yeah.
For jiu-jitsu, right? So you know, and when you had that staph infection, Adam, like, see, I had it right here. I had three ping pong balls grow out of here, man.
Yeah.
And it was the most painful thing ever. And I had to go back to the doctor like 2 more times. It was like, and they had to cut me open and lance it, and then they had to give me these serious medications.
Yeah.
So when I talked to Diego Mendez when he was here, and I'd also spoken with Steve back in the day regarding this, so nobody ever had an issue, right? And because of my paranoia, I guess, of like using a public shower after getting a staph infection, you know, I'm like, hey man, like that's how come I'm very hygienic. Like as soon as I'm out coming back from the yard, I want to get like clean, and then get out of here and go. But like, I'd gone here for 2 years, and then like, you know, I guess there was some miscommunication here with Al. I cleaned out my lockers, but yeah, I ended up, if I'm guilty of just trying to be hygienic, then I'm guilty. But I didn't mean any disrespect, Al.
Yeah.
So on June the 3rd, 2018 now, I get another call to investigation. And it states here, Dear Mr. Adam Grant, this is to advise you that you are hereby notified to attend a formal investigation to determine the facts and circumstances surrounding poor work performance, taking unscheduled breaks and being unproductive during your tour of duty on May 25th, 2018. And this is from, again, Sean Terry for this. And you're going to see with my audio proof from this, from 3 separate foremen stating that they never received any complaints and that I do an exceptional job. And basically, the guys down at that shop know the kind of work that I did there. My work ethic was above standards at all times. So I get the call on June the 3rd, 2018 for June the 6th. 2018, 8 o'clock in the morning in the boardroom at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. From, again, Mr. Sean Terry.
I'll go through the OT. Oh, okay. No, this is the janitor jobs for the week.
And do you guys have them for every single day?
Yeah, every day.
Oh, you might as well give me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And then has there been any complaints or issues?
No, everything's good. Everything's good. I don't think Evan's been handling it to you. I really wanted you to get them because we put a lot of effort into putting those together. Or Luke did, I should say.
Oh, okay. And then, but on like, there's been no complaints about my work.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's fine with me being a janitor.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, okay.
Not in the switch anymore, or what?
Well, I like doing the janitor.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a switchman. I'm a janitor. I'm a laborer here. I come in to do my job, right?
Good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And the overtime.
And just a question, Brad. Like, has there been any complaints that you've been receiving about my janitor duties?
Not personally.
Oh, okay. Like, you know, I guess for the time that you've known me, like, so far, like, my janitor duties, I guess, have been quite exceptional from what other people's tell me.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Just thought I'd double check, man.
All right.
Right on. Hey, Luke. Just had a question. Like, so, yeah, I've been following your list and stuff, but I guess one question I had, like, have you received any complaints or anything about my janitor duties? Like,
I don't.
oh, okay. Like, as far as I know, other people said, hey, man, like, we always notice that you do an exceptional job when you're doing it. So I just thought I'd double check to see if,
No, I heard it.
Oh, okay, good stuff, man. Just, yeah, and I appreciate writing up the list. It's good for all the guys.
Yeah, no, we wanna set up a schedule so that we know what's getting cleaned when.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
It's not just going by. Hey, Evan, and like, just a question, like, have you received any like personal complaints about my janitor duties?
Oh, okay, because like, I just thought I'd double check, like, just to make sure, just because,
No, man. First off, nobody everyone ever says you should spin it, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, like, okay, because like, I was just wondering, like, I mean, I have an investigation today for my janitor duty, so I was just kind of curious, right?
Janitor duty?
Well, just like, I guess like, I think Steve, because he didn't know that, like, the time he saw my cart in the closet, but I was outside cleaning the truck.
Yeah.
So I think that's just it. I don't think it's, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I just...
No, nothing personal.
Oh, okay, right on, dude. Like, yeah, and keep a happy gut.
I'll go through the OT. Oh, okay. No, this is the janitor jobs for the week.
And do you guys have them for every single day?
Yeah, every day.
Oh, you might as well give me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then has there been any complaints or issues?
No, everything's good. Everything's good. I don't think Evan's been handling it to you. I really wanted you to get them because we put a lot of effort into putting those together. Or Luke did, I should say.
Oh, okay. And then, but on, like, there's been no complaints about my work?
Good.
Yeah. Everyone's fine with me being a janitor?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, okay.
Not in the switch anymore or what?
Well, I like doing the janitor.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a switchman. I'm a janitor. I'm a laborer here. I come in to do my job, right?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And the overtime.
This audio shows that Parm Takar also felt sick and had to go to the men's locker room, and I reported it in front of the other foreman while Alan Kosh admitted it, that was him that had the human excrement in there, and that, again, he lied right to my face. Listen.
You want to get that toilet out of there? I'll put the new one on.
Yeah.
Oh, is that for the foreman's washroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like...
I'll go in there.
No, but, you know, like, I guess when it did happen, like, because Parm said he almost got super sick, he didn't even know there was no sign or anything, right?
No sign.
Yeah, but I mean, like, anyways.
I put a sign on there after I did it. I said, sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah, on the inside. I put the one on the outside door. Like, I was like, holy fuck, man. Like, so pretty
No one
brutal.
said anything about the handle being busted. I went in there and it was like, it was happening no matter what. And then went to go flush and it just went, oh god.
Oh, no.
And then there's parts, I guess, you can't flush to get the parts.
Oh. I was wondering what the hell.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of miscommunication.
Big time. I called Luke right away. Luke, what's going on up here? How do I get this toilet flush? Because I tried to do the water, the ground.
Oh, but then I called you on the radio. I said, hey, it's out of order. And you're like, oh, I had no fucking idea.
No.
Well, I guess it was still sinking in. Eh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully they'll fix it today.
Oh, dreams can come true, man. Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up, Alice.
Yeah, that's why they have the door open. Parm said he went in there, he said he almost met a spirit animal. Yeah. And then, like, Ryan didn't even know, and then he got sidetracked as well. So it's kind of like...
So here we go. On June the 6th, 8 o'clock. Purpose of the supplemental statement. To determine the facts and circumstances surrounding an alleged poor work performance, taking unscheduled breaks and being unproductive during your tour of duty on May 25th, 2018. Who are the two people here? Adam Grant, locomotive attendant, officer of the company, Sean Terry, senior manager, Vancouver Maintenance Center. List of exhibits, an email from Stephen Sylvester, senior manager at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. Okay, so here we go again. Do you wish to have this investigation in French or English? I said English. Adam Grant, PIN 705-179, and service date of May 1st, 2015. Is this correct? I said that's correct. Were you given proper notice to attend? I said yes. Do you have a duly authorized representative with you? If so, please state their name. I said no, I do not. There's no one there to represent me. What time did you start your scheduled shift on May 25th? I said 6 a.m. What time is your scheduled breaks? Break times are at 8, 10, and 12. On May 25th, what was your assignment? My assignment was janitor duties, which I have a full detailed schedule of my duties. These are for anyone who is doing the janitor role. It was written by Luke Warren. He's one of the foremen. What date were you given the papers indicating your janitor duties and by whom? Given by Alan Kosh in early to mid-May. In Exhibit 1, Stephen Sylvester states at 1 o'clock he found you sitting in the employee change room playing on your phone. Is that statement correct? I said I wasn't playing on my phone. I was messaging my mom for a family emergency, and I also went in there to recover from experience in the foreman washroom. I felt nauseous after discovering someone had left in the foreman washroom a toilet full of human excrement. The smell was horrendous. No one had posted on the foreman door or made any announcement to me in regards to the toilet being out of order and that there was human excrement still inside. Even up to today's date and time, there is still human excrement and an out-of-order toilet. One of my colleagues had a similar experience and was not made aware of this situation. As per my assigned duties, I was to clean the supervisor change room from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. You're going to see here. In Exhibit 1, Stephen states that you told him you were in the lunchroom cleaning prior to being in the employee change room and that Brad Cole saw you. Is that statement correct? I said, as per my assigned duties, I was in the lunchroom cleaning from 12 to 12:30, not from... So anyways, the next one. So you never told Stephen that you were in the lunchroom and that Brad Cole saw you? I said I was in the lunchroom from 12 to 12:30, but I never stated that I saw Brad Cole's. Why would Stephen Sylvester state that you told this then? I said, I'm not sure. Here's where you're going to see they're trying to set me up here. As you stated, 1 o'clock is not your scheduled break time, correct? I said, that's correct. But because I was feeling nauseous from the foreman change room and I had an emergency text message from my mom. Did you tell Steve about the situation in the foreman change room? I said I didn't have the chance. Did you radio to your supervisor to tell him you were feeling nauseous and that you were in the employee change room? I said no. Has it not been discussed many times to all staff that they must report to the supervisor as there a change in their break schedule? It's been brought up, I wouldn't say all the time. The locomotive attendants group always take our breaks at different times to help with the operation. Locomotive attendants, we're always moving on different schedules. We don't ever have the same kind of breaks. It's just how it is. Break schedules to fluctuate with locomotive attendants, but the supervisor is to be informed when they are going on break, correct? I said yes, but at the same time, that's not always the case with locomotive attendants. We try and be respectful and inform the foreman, but it's not always the case. What time did you go to the employee change room? Right after the incident in the foreman change room. It was at 1 o'clock. I still hadn't taken a break. So Steve found you in the change room the same minute you went in? I said I would say it was shortly after. It wasn't long, no. In total, how long were you in the change room? I would say less than 5 minutes. In Exhibit 1, Stephen states at 13:35 he saw your janitor cart put away. What time did you finish doing your janitor duties? I said my shift finishes at 2, and as per my assigned duties based on Friday's janitorial list, I am to wash the shop truck from 1 to 2. In this case, I had known that Al had been moving things and the floor was dirty, and I went down and mopped the floor and gave it a quick clean out of respect and put my cart away. I went outside to clean the shop truck. Yeah, at that time I went down to Foreman Allen. He had been moving a bunch of furniture and the floor was dirty, so since I knew he was moving stuff, I went immediately down afterwards, mopped it, got it all nicely clean, and then I headed outside to clean the Vancouver Maintenance Center shop truck. At what time were you going around asking other supervisors about disqualifying yourself from your job? I said I was asking about the disqualification process because recently one of our locomotive attendants, Johnny Huynh, had been disqualified, and I want to know exactly what the process is. Recently, another work colleague wanted to know as well due to harassment issues. That was Bill Nyman. I'll ask again, at what time were you going around asking other supervisors about disqualifying yourself from your job? I said no comment. You don't know what time it was? Was it before your shift ended? I said, I believe when I was asking questions about the disqualification process, it was about 1:50 p.m., 10 minutes before my shift ended, when I was getting my PSI signed. In Exhibit 1, Stephen states that he asked you if you informed your supervisor, and you responded with, yes, Alan has been on the radio. Is that statement correct? I said I was taking a late break. I did not inform my foreman. I was feeling nauseous after the bathroom incident. But yes, Alan had been on the radio. All of my duties have been completed up to this time. Is this what you told Steve on May the 25th? Steve Sylvester didn't give me the chance to explain that I was nauseous, and I did tell him I was texting my mother for a family emergency. He did tell me to please get back to work, which I did immediately. Adam, do you have anything relevant to add that you haven't already said? I said, in regards to the first section of this letter that states a couple of days ago I've been informed from several staff that each time they walk in the change room, Adam Grant is always there no matter what the time. That I was assigned to do a full e-clean and sanitize the men's change room for a full shift, so that's why fellow colleagues saw me in the change room. Also, up to today's date, I've spoken with 3 of my foremen who have stated they have received no complaints in regards to my janitor work and that I do an exceptional job. You're going to hear the recordings. Adam, are you satisfied with the manner in which this investigation was conducted? I said I will let the record speak for itself. The contents of this investigation will be reviewed and you will be advised of the decision in accordance to agreement number 1. Please sign to indicate the accuracy of this record. So again, I have Sean Terry's signature here. We've signed all the papers. Every investigation has been signed. And again, no union representative was present. So there you have it. Now, regarding the exhibit, this is from Sean Terry to Evan Sharando regarding poor work performance, May the 25th, 2018. Attachments, call for investigation, Adam Grant, June 2018. So this letter now here is from Stephen Sylvester, Friday, May 25th at 2:06 p.m. This is 6 minutes after my shift ended, and it was sent to Alan Kosh and Sean Terry and Herc Kalergis. It says, Sean and Alan, Adam Grant works from 6 to 2. Break times are at 8, 10, and 12. A couple of days ago, I had been informed from several staff that each time they walk in the change room, Adam Grant is always there no matter what the time. I was interested to confirm but was busy with other things. Today, I decided to look into the complaints further. At 1, I entered the men's change room. I found Adam Grant sitting in there on the bench, huddled in the corner playing on his phone. I asked him what he was doing. He told me he was texting his mother and taking a bit of an early break. I asked if he informed his supervisor. Adam replied, yes, Alan has been on the radio. I responded, I do not understand. Did you inform Alan that you were leaving for break earlier? I retorted, so you're saying you told Alan you were on a break? He told me, no, Alan doesn't know, and then started saying that he was only texted his mom on a personal issue. I asked, do you go into the men's change room and sit in the corner in order to text? I also told him, you must inform your supervisor if you were going on breaks and that it looks like you were hiding in the change room not doing anything. He told me that he was just in the lunchroom cleaning, that Brad Cole saw him. That's a lie. I told him to please get back to work. I then confirmed that Alan knew nothing about the unscheduled break. I also went to Brad Cole's and asked if he had seen Adam Grant before his 1 o'clock start time in the lunchroom, and he told me I never saw anyone in the lunchroom and no, I did not see Adam. I also spoke with Brad in regards to this, and he said this never happened. At 1:20, I saw that Adam was cleaning Alan's office. Seemed quite random. He mopped it for 10 minutes and then disappeared again. Again, I went down to clean Alan's office, because he'd moved furniture, clean at the floor, and it was a random, but I did it out of respect. At 1:35, I saw his janitor cart was already put away and was told by other supervisors, Evan, Sean, Brad, and Ryan, that Adam Grant was going around and asking how does he go about disqualifying for the job. This is a clear case of poor work performance. Thanks, Steve. So now you're going to see here, these are my daily janitor duties for Friday, the day that they're talking about. And basically you go through like each section, but now look. From 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, wash outside of truck, clean windows inside and out, vacuum inside truck, wipe down dashboard plastics, remove all garbage inside cabin box, check fluids. So and then here, from 12:30 to 1, supervisor change room. That's where I was. I mopped the floor, sanitized the countertop, white chrome fixture, scrub and sanitize toilet, scrub and sanitize urinal, restock paper and soap when required. Now, when I went in there was no out of order toilet sign, nothing. They'd never said anything, and I'm going to show you guys. There, on this date, there was human excrement that they'd left in there. And again, one of the other locomotive attendants that was on janitor duties, they never told him, and he went in there, and he ended up going into the union or into the men's change room, feeling sick and not well as well. And here you go. So right after 12:30 to 1, after I cleaned that, after I went to text my mom, and then from 1 to 2, I went outside. I then cleaned Alan's office before going outside. This is what I had. So here you go. That's basically the last investigation, and then we're going to get to what happened next. Now, this is me reporting to Sean Terry in regards to the toilet incident, exactly like how it was.
And I spoke today to Al and the foreman today also about the washroom incident.
What washroom?
But there's still shit in the...
Oh yeah, the toilet's broken.
Yeah, but they haven't told it. They don't ever mention it in the morning meetings. They've never mentioned it. So like anybody doing janitor work,
Yeah, issue that you tell them.
you know. And then the other thing is like, you know, like, and then Al finally said it was him. And when I called him on the radio to tell him that the toilet was out of order, he said he had no idea, but he's the guy that did it. So, and then the thing is why would you leave a note inside on the toilet and not outside the door so anybody going in there? Parm even told me, he said he went in there, he said it was bad. You know, I actually put the sign on the actual door going into the toilet, but there should be one, even now that I think about it, on the outside. There should have been announcements made. It's like, you know, Brad Smith, he goes into the our guys' change room today to use the washroom. You know, like, so it's like, okay, so I guess management can go use our washrooms.
Yeah, it's broken down, right?
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, you know, there's washrooms in here too, right? And then at the same time, I guess, even if management wanted to use the showers in there, they could use them. Right?
Possible.
Yeah, why not?
If the shower wasn't working.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, even if it was working, they have the right to use the showers. Same thing with the washrooms. Everyone should have the right.
No, they wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like,
They would.
yeah, but I'm saying like this thing with the shit in the toilet. I mean,
Yeah.
this should be, especially people doing janitor work.
Get stuck in there.
Yeah, and then they should have told people in the meeting, hey, by the way, you're doing janitor, let them know.
Well, I know. Ryan opened it for me. He was like, holy fuck. I was like, dude, it stinks in here.
And did he say how they got it?
He doesn't know. And then he's like, just mop the floor and clean the lockers. And I just,
Okay.
I did whatever I could.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Brad, how you doing?
A little better now.
Mr. Bradley Smith. So you're joined us in the unionized bathroom finally.
Yeah, guys out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I figured you really wouldn't be too keen on me going across from your office.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the management's office, you know. But, hey, Brad, I just want to ask, too, you know, I thought when you and I spoke that time when I came after the private shower, it was like, that we were okay, I didn't mean to disrespect anybody, you know what I'm saying? I just did it because of, you know, I mentioned that my staph infection. I don't know if you've ever had a staph infection. Oh, well, I had these three.
It's quite painful.
Yeah, Adam I talked to, and he said that he had a staph infection. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I thought after that, since we've talked about it, that I was still okay to use the shower. I just didn't know, right?
Yeah.
I just mentioned the whole part where, you know, because I thought Al said something about, he mentioned just to remove my lockers or whatever, right? So I did that, and I mean, I'd done that for 5 months after, because I was, back in November, right? But I thought, yeah, because I mentioned all those guys, about my staff, it's just medical reasons, right? But I didn't mean to, disrespect anybody, you know what I'm saying? By just taking a shower. It's hey, you know, I don't know, some people aren't comfortable showering with other people, right? Especially if they're all, you know what I mean? And then the same thing, if you come in here to the, you know, I guess the union bathroom or whatever the hell, I don't know if it's a union, but, you know, our bathroom. But it's you know, you're invited, everybody's, I mean, even if you needed to use the shower in here, you know what I mean? I just thought, you know, we're kind of in a modern day world here, right? That, you know, we're supposed to kind of, you know, care for our fellow men and women, you know what I'm saying? So, but again, I meant, no disrespect by just using the private shower. So, yeah, I hope you guys know that.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a wonderful day, man. Yeah, enjoy yourself, dude.
Did you guys look into that? I reported to Evan about the train being moved or leaving, like that incident with Herc, where he wanted me to leave the train with no handbrakes attached. Did you guys look into that radio? Because I asked Evan twice, and he said he was talking with you. You were supposed to look into that.
I don't know.
Pardon me?
I'm not sure you're correct.
Oh, well, there was an incident where, like, we were moving the whole train, and then I was asked to leave the train without securing the equipment, and then I told her no. He's like, well, this was over the radio, and then I reported this to the lead hand Preet as well. But like Evan, I brought it to his attention, and he said, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so we're gonna do that as a fair time.
But you were never made aware of that?
No.
So I've reported that to Evan Sharando when the incident happened, and then now also to Sean Terry. Again, nothing was being done, and again I reported it to Kurt Giltz and Mitch McCannon, who are basically like, the guys that monitor the locomotive attendants. Again, you report things, safety concerns, like all of these things that I'm showing to you, it goes just out by the wayside.
I was asking about the disqualification progress.
Yeah, because recently, one of our locomotive attendants, Johnny Quinn, had been disqualified. And I wanted to know exactly what the process is.
So I was asking about the disqualification process because recently one of our locomotive attendants have been disqualified, and I want to know what exactly the process is.
Yeah, but can you put his name also, Johnny Quinn, please?
Oh, sorry. Because recently one of our locomotive attendants, Johnny Wynn, how do you spell those?
H-U-H-Y-N.
H-U-H-Y-N.
And then I want to add to this also.
I've been disqualified. I want to know exactly what the process is.
And recently, another work colleague wanted to know as well, due to harassment issues. Does he get yelled at by Luke all the time?
I don't know if
Does he yell at you?
they yell at me, but
You witnessed him yell at Bill?
no, I didn't see that happen. But Bill was upset. He was fucking upset. I was trying to cheer him up all day. I even drove. I'm like, yo, just relax. I'm like, just act like you can that. Just take it easy. Bill's he's been here for a long time. He's a different type of guy, right? He gets hurt.
Yeah.
He puts in, he gives it all. He collapses on his job.
Yeah.
What more do you want from this, you know? He was bummed out, I swear. Never seen that.
Now here's where Sean Terry, the investigating officer and manager of the Vancouver Maintenance Center, approaches me to suspend me from the company. I received no written documentation, nothing. Sean Terry and Evan Sharando came up to me to tell me of my suspension, and I got Mr. Morgan Masters to witness this, and you'll hear this in the audio.
Well, here, just come here for a second, witness this. So, So Sean, like, you guys are gonna suspend me until...
Yeah, until the results of the investigation.
But like, how come I can't have this in writing?
But just don't have it right now. So you're verbally been asked to leave the property.
Okay.
And we'll notify you when we have results of the investigation to return back to them.
Okay, so like, is this how it normally goes, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm like, when do you guys get the results back?
When we decide, we have up to 21 days to give the results.
Okay. You guys have 21 days.
Yeah.
Now, what happens? Like, am I suspended without pay? How does this work?
You can notify you there's like 3 days you get paid for.
Pardon me?
3 days that are non-paid for, and after that you're paid for.
Okay, so for the next 3 days, I'm suspended without pay.
Yeah, and without benefits.
Okay, well, yeah, well, okay, it is what it is. Okay, so like, I'm suspended as of right now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and like, why am I suspended? This is what I don't understand.
It's just the process we have to look at.
Oh, but why? Like, I don't understand.
It's just the results of the investigation.
Because, like, all the other investigations I've had, like, it's been like I've still maintained my work.
Yeah.
You know, and as for yesterday, like, I asked 3 foremen yesterday, like, if they were happy and satisfied with all my work up to date, and they said that they were fine.
Okay, so I need you to change.
Yeah. So this is the way, like, and
It happens this way sometimes. It has the choice that they can spend it, unfortunately.
So again, it's like giving you an instruction to do something.
No, I'm just listening. Again, this is my first experience ever having this thing, kind of thing, right? So it's all kind of new to me or whatever, right? So like, yeah, that's why I'm asking, right? So,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Like,
If you get changed, you can leave the card and everything there. We'll take care of that.
Yeah.
If you get changed, and we'll meet you outside.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to meet me outside. I can
No,
get
we gotta
outside.
walk out.
Oh, you have to walk me out. Oh, okay. Wow, sounds all official. Okay, well, I'm just gonna get my stuff and get my stuff together. Excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
So I would receive no documentation, nothing. I ended up going and getting my things from my locker, and then Evan Sharando and Sean Terry escorted me to my truck. I entered my truck and then I left the property. At no time was I ever told that I was not allowed to come back to the property to get any of my things out of my locker. And you'll see some more evidence here as we continue. The next day, I enrolled myself in an intellectual property and trademarking course at the Small Business Center at Waterfront Station. I was in class all day. And so on Friday, June the 8th at 9:04 a.m., it says from Mr. Sean Terry to myself, "Hi Adam, I need to schedule you to come to see me today. Please email or call me back to set up a time." I couldn't because I was in class. The second email I received then was on Saturday, June the 9th, at exactly 12:58 p.m. from Sean Terry, and Herc Colurgis was CC'd, Ron Shore, and Stephen Sylvester. So there's 2 union representatives and the senior manager. It says, "Adam, I have called you and left a voicemail yesterday at 9 a.m. and today at 12:45. I also emailed you yesterday and now. You are suspended from work and need to respond back to me so we can set up a meeting. You are required to respond back. You can reach me at 604-340-7351. So on Sunday, June the 10th, I responded back to Sean. It says, "That is correct. You suspended me without pay and benefits for 3 days and that you have up to 21 days to decide the results from the investigations." Thursday at 11:07 a.m. I signed out and was escorted off the property by you and Evan. Friday the 8th, Saturday the 9th, and Sunday the 10th are suspended days without pays and benefits, as he mentioned. And Mondays and Tuesdays are my regular assigned days off. Can you let me know the time and date for this meeting? And in regards to what specifically? Adam Grant. I then also sent him at exactly 6:50 p.m. on Sunday, June the 10th, Sean, any time after Tuesday is fine. Thank you, Adam Grant. Sean Terry then wrote me back and CC'd Herc Kalergis, Ron Shore, Stephen Sylvester, and Alan Kosh. Sunday, June the 10th at exactly 7:05 p.m. Adam, you are suspended pending results of the investigation. I did not say for 3 days. I said until the result of the investigation is determined. When you asked what happens with the pay, I told you you would not be paid for the first 3 days. You are required to return to work for the result of the investigation. Monday at 12, you can meet in the lobby of the station for the results of the investigation. I then wrote back on exactly June the 10th at 7:37 p.m. In the lobby of the station, Sean? Weird place for a meeting. However, can you please provide the results of the investigation so that I can review? I already made plans for Monday and Tuesday since they were my days off. Please reschedule. Thanks, Adam Grant. And he responded back at exactly 7:43 p.m. This was the last email that I received. And again, it was CC'd to Herc Kalergis, Ron Shore, Stephen Sylvester, and Alan Kosh. It states, yes, in the station you will be provided the results when we meet at 12 on Monday. To be clear, you have no days off as you are suspended. You are required to meet us at the station at 12 on Monday. Again, I didn't receive any written documentation for my suspension. I did not know that I was not allowed to go back on the property. So anyways, again, I wasn't in town on the Monday and Tuesday. I'd already made plans for my days off. I'd asked to please reschedule, and again, what happened was now is I receive an email from Mr. Sean Terry, Sean Terry is CC'd, Stephen Sylvester is CC'd, and it was from Alan Kosh, and the subject is Adam Grant, termination of employment from Via Rail. It says, hello Adam, on Thursday at 11 a.m. Sean Terry gave you your suspension pending the investigation outcomes. The suspension was to inform you that you were not to return to the property until you were contacted to return. This was never the case. Again, I never received any document, and you guys could hear from my full audio from Sean Terry suspending me what transpired. On Sunday night at 7:57 p.m., you accessed Via Rail property, violating the terms of your suspension, completely disregarding the fact that you were not to enter the premise under the terms of your suspension. This information was gathered from our security swipe log access shown below. Again, I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to go back on the property. I went back to my locker to grab some items. Yesterday at 12, on June the 12th, 2018, myself, Adam LaChapelle, and union representative Hercules Kalergis were to meet you at the clock inside Pacific Central Station. The three of us waited until 12:20 p.m. and you did not show up to meet. The swipe in on Sunday shows the direct disregard to what you were told not to do by your manager, Sean Terry, on Thursday when you were handed your suspension. Again, I was never handed a suspension, and I was never told that I wasn't allowed to access the property, or else I would have not have done so. Because of this repetitive behavior of not doing what is asked of you, Via Rail Canada will be terminating your employment effective immediately. Please see attached documents for disciplines and demerits from your past 3 investigations as well, and your letter of termination. A copy of your attached forms will be mailed to you, and you will be required to return all passes and scan cards by mail to Via Rail Canada, 1100 Station Street, Vancouver, BC. Attention, Alan Kosh. And regards, Alan Kosh, Operations Manager, Vancouver. So that's what I got, and then in that email as well is 3 documents here. And again, I asked Sean Terry in a previous email, can you please send me the documents in regards to the investigation upon my review. This was made on June the 8th, 2018. It states, Mr. Adam Grant, on May 4th, 2018, you were assessed 40 demerits for violation of Via's harassment policy. On June the 8th, 2018, you were assessed 30 demerits for insubordination, not following supervisor's instruction and then subsequently not being. On June 8, 2018, you were assessed 20 demerits for poor work performance, taking unscheduled breaks and being unproductive during your tour of duty on May 25, 2018. In summation, you are currently sitting at a total of 90 demerits. This letter is to inform you that due to an accumulation of demerits, your employment with VRL Canada Inc. has been terminated effective immediately. Sean Terry, Senior Manager, Vancouver Maintenance Center. The documents provided are all prepared on June the 8th, 2008. It says here Adam Grant, PIN number 705179, locomotive attendant at the Vancouver Maintenance Center. Your record indicates that you have been accumulation of demerits, total 90. Sean Terry signature, Senior Manager VMC, again, June the 8th, 2018. The second disciplinary measure form here is insubordination, not following supervisor's instruction. During the investigation, you're found to take no accountability and make several false statements. I received 30 demerits. Again, listen to all my proof. So I went from 40 demerits to 70. I got 30 demerits here, and insubordination for using a private shower. Signed by Mr. Sean Terry, the manager of the Vancouver Maintenance Center on June the 8th, 2018. Poor work performance, which you guys can hear all my audio proof again. Adam Grant, total 20 demerits for poor work performance, taking unscheduled breaks and being unproductive during your tour of duty on May 25th, 2018. During the investigation, you were found to not take any responsibility and make several false statements. Signature of Mr. Sean Terry, Senior Manager. So there you have it. This is my case. This is my whole case here. I'm just putting my whole truth out there so you guys know. Again, Mr. Ron Shore and Herc Kalergis were all CC'd on this. At no time did any union representative ever get in contact with me. And it wasn't until afterwards that I reached out to Mr. David Judge, who then informed me how to basically grieve demerits. It was at that point in time that I found out that the 40 demerits hadn't been grieved in regards to Mr. Herc Kalergis' letter, and Dave Judge made Mr. Herc Kalergis file 2 grievances on my behalf for the 20 demerits in regards to poor work performance and the 30 demerits in regards to insubordination. This was done on July the 1st, 2018, and as you can see here, it says it's addressed to Mr. Steven Sylvester, and Mr. Herc Kalergis had to do these 2 demerits. They did not want to grieve my 40 demerits. And in fact, so these were the only 2 that were filed. So again, all my proof is here. It says here, Dear Sir, pursuant to Article 24.5, 24.6, and all other applicable articles, the following grievance is being filed on behalf of Mr. Adam Grant at Step 2 of the grievance procedure as per Collective Agreement Number 1. Mr. Grant was recently assessed 20 demerits for poor work performance as he was observed nesting by Senior Managers Steven Sylvester in the employee locker room while texting on his cell phone during regular work hours. In closing, the union is requesting a reduction in the demerits to remedy this grievance. Sincerely, Herc Kalergis. And it's CC'd to Sean Terry and Mr. Ron Shore. Same for the second grievance. It says Mr. Grant was recently assessed 30 demerits for insubordination for continuing to shower in the foreman's shower, contrary to being told by various foremen and managers to not shower in the foreman's shower. In closing, the union is requesting a reduction in 30 demerits to remedy this grievance. Sincerely, Herc Kalergis. CC to Mr. Sean Terry and Mr. Ron Shore. Now the thing is, they didn't want to grieve my 40 demerits and let it stick, because even if they did grieve these 2 investigations, I would still be sitting over 60 demerits and still be terminated. Again, I've had no contact from the union, nothing. It's been 4 months since June the 12th since I received my official termination documents here. In closing, I want to thank every single person who I've had the pleasure of meeting at Via Rail, the people who reached out after my termination to make sure that I was doing okay. You guys seriously touched my heart. Thank you very, very much. To the people who supported me and believed my story and supported me along this journey, I want to thank every single one of you as well. And also to the people who are going through unnecessary investigations, getting buried in paperwork from a management team that does so only to hide their own incompetence. You guys are true soldiers. This doesn't need to be. We don't need to exist in a toxic energy field when we go to work.